Baby, I'm an angel. Being born is a man. Even though I act like I'm black or white, most nights I'm both rain and shine. Living in the distance between the nightmares and the daydreams. That's the way we were before we were the nightmares and the daydreams. That's the way we were before we got thrown in the street. Won the right to think though for ourselves. No, it's not perfection, but it's peace. From a silhouette to afraid of this disease, to do a damn thing about it. So we had to scream about it on the top of the roof. Listen for existence and took it as a proof. But hey, Mr. Wait, though you still need a brush big enough to paint you a saint before it gets too late. It's a fool's fate to go to hell now. Poor man die, rich man gon' die too. Get a cash cow in the sky, and life is a lullaby. So when I get back from heaven, everything's gonna be right where I left it. When I get back from heaven, everything's gonna be right where I left it. When I get back from heaven, everything's gonna be right where I left it. When I get back from heaven, everything's gonna be right where I left it. Jack like the new paper sack that I stashed on the moon. One skin says me, the other skin says you. Twins from the same old mother, so feed that tail to the snake man under the lake. The mermaids aren't quite that pretty. Really, it's a shame the ocean's so far away. It's hard to say how far exactly. I haven't been that far before. I just dyed my water fake blue, made me feel so wonderful. I just dyed my water fake blue, made me feel so wonderful. So when I get back from heaven, everything's gonna be right where I left it. When I get back from heaven, everything's gonna be super cool. When I get back from heaven, I'm gonna take a nap out by my pool. So when I get back from heaven, that water better be all kinds of blue.
All right, guys, I'm back. That was a fun little intro. Just trying out something a little bit different. That is a song by the band No Birds Sing. I like it. I like that song. So anyway, this has to be the funnest drama that I've ever experienced. Like the Hasan dog shock collar drama. I just think that it's so funny. It really is. It's really emblematic of how many people hate Hasan because he's like an outspoken leftist, and then they attack him for the stupidest things possible. It brings it back to the idea of him buying a house and how people were saying that that's bullshit. The idea that he wears expensive clothes or drives an expensive car, how that's bullshit. How people were criticizing him for even buying the dog, Kaya, and saying that that was a designer dog. And so he should have gotten a cheaper dog because socialism is when you have cheap animals. And now there's this whole thing where it's like, oh my God, Hasan trains his dog to stay in a bed. That must mean that he's some kind of animal abuser. So we're gonna dive into that. But just as a little precursor, no. Let's just dive into it right now. Kaya is more famous than the flotilla. Yeah, that's sadly true. I mean, Greta Thunberg tortured by the IDF, forced to kiss the Israeli flag, beaten by them. But you know what gets the attention from everyone in the world, from all of the libs? Kaya's dog, or Hasan's dog, taking a misstep onto her bed and then squealing out in pain. So let's just get into it. What happened here? First of all, bad. What is going on? Hasan shock collar. What is going on? The first article is by Forbes. Hasan Piker's dog shock collar controversy explained. Which, first of all, they don't explain it at all. Like, this is a horrible article, by the way. Who is Hasan Piker? What happened to Kaya during the live stream? He's making political commentary. At one point, Piker appears to lose patience with his dog. Then Kaya suddenly yelps and lays back down.
America.
Like, I swear this was written by AI. It's just the most bare bones retelling of what happened. That really doesn't give much information at all. Like, when you included the video clip, you could have just said, this is what happened. Okay, is there no way to go? Is there no way to go full screen on this? Tiger drama alert. Gotta scroll down a lot. God damn, this man posts a lot. Okay, here we go.
Fucking go. Just stop. Jesus Christ. What are you doing? You're being such a baby. It's just. You're making her stressed. She just literally is
it's
so
in Forbes.
Incredibly spoiled from my mom.
Okay, so we're going to get into a lot of reactions, but the main point of contention is that people say Hasan reaches for something. He reaches for something here. You can see his eyes. He's grabbing something. And then the dog yelps as he's reaching for something. So you have the main point of contention, which is what people are running with. Oh my God, he's using a shock collar on his dog, and he's shocking her whenever she gets out of bed. But then you have all of these ancillary concerns, quote unquote concerns, right? Oh, why does his dog have to sit in a bed? Why does he even have a collar on her in the first place? Why does Hasan get so mad? Why doesn't he go up and check on her when she yelps and then goes and lays down? All of these are like ancillary concerns, right? Well, Hasan just trains his dog too much anyway. The fact that he's streaming so much, that's horrible. Why does he say that his mom spoils the dog afterwards? Just because she gets up, that somehow triggers a response for the mother spoiling the dog? These are all complete bullshit concerns, right? He looks at the dog's fine. Why is Kaya laying in a bed? I don't know. I don't know why Hasan would dare to get a bed. Why doesn't Hasan let his dog lay right under his desk chair, right? Oh, I wonder why. For what reason would you not want your dog to be lying on the floor right beside your fucking desk chair? Oh, Hasan he forces Kaya to be on his stream, and then you go and you see a Hasan streaming and the dog's not there. It's like, the dog is laying in a bed and Hasan's streaming. She yelped, Hasan looked at her, made sure she was okay, and then went back to streaming. Like, this is such a nothing burger. But the reactions from this have been really entertaining. And we'll get into this. But it's just like, there's absolutely nothing to go on. There's absolutely nothing to go on. So anyway, we'll get into this. Let's watch this clip one more time.
America, Kaya, please just fucking go. Just stop. Jesus Christ, what are you doing?
Jesus
You're being such a baby. It's just. You're making her stressed. She just literally is so incredibly spoiled from my mom.
Anyone who owns a dog can tell if another dog is afraid. Yes, everyone has that superpower. Okay, so anyway, shock collar. Let me show you guys the video that I made. So I stayed up honestly way too late last night making this stupid video, but I thought it was funny. I'm sure you've seen it if you're watching this stream right now. But I'm just going to let this play. So I'm like, okay, they're saying it's a shock collar. Well, let's see what shock collars actually look like, because I've been shocked with a shock collar before. I've been shocked with like nerve stimulators, which are essentially meant to do the exact same thing as a shock collar for a dog is meant to do. I wonder what the reaction of dogs are when they get hit with a shock collar. So that's the alleged shock collar use that we saw.
Jesus
Kaya
Christ.
Bambi,
yelps out in pain.
come.
This is an actual guy using a shock collar on a dog for the first time that the dog has ever been experienced a shock collar, okay? And we can see the dog's reaction to being shocked for the first time.
No, Bambi. Come.
Clicks it, nothing, just gets the attention.
There you go. Sit. When I said no and I gave a correction on a 17, she stopped what she was doing and she came to me.
We're not getting anything, and now here we should start seeing something. There.
There we go.
Okay, now if I go to a 4, watch. 4, he'll get him. Yeah, good boy.
Good boy.
Oh.
Oh.
We get it?
Oh, there it is. Okay, there it is.
Here we go. Got a touch.
Like, the point of me playing this video is that people don't know what shock collars are. They think of like electroshock therapy from like the 1970s where people are getting strapped into chairs and they're getting these helmets put on them and then it goes wrong and their eyeballs start melting or whatever. That's not what electric shock collars are, or as they're calling them now, e-collars with like the stimulators on them. It's essentially meant to give the dog like a little bit of stimulation to break the concentration of whatever they're focused on. Now, animal rights groups still advocate against using that because it can be dangerous and it can lead to certain like abusive interactions where simply being like a vibration collar or using a clicker to get the dog's attention wouldn't lead to that same kind of potential misuse and abuse of the animal. However, that doesn't mean that like shock collars, when used correctly, are abusive at all. And I'm not even saying Hasan has a shock collar, but you can clearly see here, while it is getting the dog's attention, that's not eliciting the same kind of like violent, painful reaction that we saw Hasan's dog have when she was stepping back onto the bed.
Yes, and we're gonna pay her.
Tap, tap, tap. Up, tap, tap, tap. Yeah, good girl, that's me. He's pulling a little bit, he wants to go. So I'm like, yeah, good boy. You could see there was a little bit of turn back there. And then, okay, 9.
Kaya, please just fucking go. Just stop.
And then I get into this, and what I think happened is you can see here when she's stepping on there, you can see her paw is straight, and she's like a very heavy animal. She steps down, takes a bad step, and I think what happens is that this little hyperextension of her front left paw is what caused her to yelp out in pain. You can see her front left paw clicking down, going from here to here. It's here, then it clicks down as she puts her weight on it. It's like you're hyperextending your fingers here, because a dog's paws are their fingers, and so when she's stepping down on it, it's getting hyperextended like this. And then for further evidence, like, she immediately jumps up and puts weight on her other paw. She goes from her left paw to her right paw. I mean, whatever. Like, it's obvious that she wasn't shocked. It's obvious that Hasan wasn't expecting her to be shocked. You can see the reaction in his eyes when he hears her, and then he stares at her because he's like, what the hell happened to her? There have been countless examples also in the past where Hasan says, get back onto your bed, Kaya, and Kaya goes back onto her bed without letting out a shock. And like, do these people think that Hasan obviously had Kaya professionally trained. He introduced his trainer on stream or whatever, and Kaya would have been used to the training by now. I've seen comments that are like, oh, well, all of those settings were low. Like, all of the settings in the video you made were low. This was at like setting 9, or this was setting 17. Hasan could have had a setting on like 9,000 and really just burnt the shit out of Kaya's neck. It's like, so you think that not only Kaya had never experienced a shock collar before, she wasn't trained, but also Hasan had it on the highest setting possible, and it was only on this one time, this one clip of his stream where he told her to go back to her place, rather than every other time for like the 3 years that he's had this dog, where he's told her to go place and she hasn't yet let out a yelp a single time. So anyway, but I mean, the memes that we got out of this were pretty good. Hasan doing a fatality on his dog. What? I mean, okay, let's get into this more. Charlie Moist Critical wanted to watch this video. Moist Critical clips.
Showing, no, look, it's not. Obviously, I'm a little greasy. No, I haven't showered yet. So what? Who cares? Have you showered yet? If you did and didn't use Cheeky soap, then it doesn't count. Cheeky's the best soap in the universe. I know, I'm looking disheveled, but what are you? The Mighty Morphin Shower Ranger?
That's a funny joke.
A live-streamed birth on Twitch. The second being Hasan apparently using a shock collar on his dog on Twitch. Both of these sounded fucking nuts to me, so obviously I looked into them. And I know the Hasan dog stuff is what's blown up the most, but I actually want to start by blabbering about the live birth, because out of the two of these, this is the one I have the least to say with. The Hasan...
Oh yeah, you have the least to say with the live birth. That becomes glaringly obvious.
Dog one, I'm be-yapping. But let's start with the live birth, because apparently I've got a very hot take with this. The sentiment across the web, from what I can tell, is people are extremely positive about it, very supportive, and think that it was a wonderful thing. I don't necessarily have that perspective. I'll show you a brief snippet here of what the stream was like, with the baby being delivered in front of, like, allegedly, you know, tens of thousands of viewers. I'm seeing numbers that range from 30,000 to 100,000. I think people claiming 100,000 are including all the people that watch partied the birth.
Bro, that's crazy. That's actually kind of crazy. You just like popped out a baby there. Like, I hope she had some medical professionals on the scene. Like, it's one thing to live stream your birth, it's another thing to do it with no one that knows what they're doing. Like, I hope these people are like midwives or something.
There we go, there we go.
Oh my god.
Now, I want to be clear, I'm very happy that everything went well with the delivery here. When it comes to home births, I've heard like horror stories and such about things that can go wrong and then not being able to get immediate care that a hospital offers. Like, there's just a lot of things that I've read about that can be like disastrous, and I'm super, super relieved that this was not one of those cases. It seems like everything went really smooth, everything went perfectly. A healthy baby was delivered, and I think that is all extraordinary. That being said,
Bro, it is kind of wild that his sponsor was soap and he shows up to his video looking like this. Like, I at least showered before I started streaming today, man. You made a 21 long minute video and you show up looking like you haven't left your room in a month.
really hate that there has been a complete deterioration of the value of privacy. It seems like people don't want privacy anymore. Like, there's no such thing as like a special moment anymore if you can't monetize it and publicly display it.
Yeah, Charlie, you didn't have to preface this by saying you don't have a lot to say about it when your reactions to it are, oh, does no one value privacy? We can't have special moments anymore? Yeah, you're a YouTuber, man. Sure, you didn't live stream the birth of your kid, but I want to say that you're the paragon of discretion.
Something like the birth of your child, to me, would be something that you would want with your closest family, your soulmate. You know, like, this would be something so personal that you wouldn't want just a bunch of strangers peeking in on. And of course...
Bro, what do you think a hospital is? Yeah, because all of the doctors and nurses that help deliver your baby are your close personal friends. Dude, this is such a stupid take. I'm sorry. I watched this, and I know that I watched this to try to get to his coverage of the Hasan Kaya Piker situation. But, like, the idea that he's like, oh, is nothing sacred anymore? Why are we letting strangers watch women give birth? Dude, giving birth fucking sucks. You're covered in blood and piss. You're like shitting yourself. You're in pain. There's strangers watching you. The people you love the most are helpless to do anything. Your husband's just sitting there. Your like mom and grandma or sister or whatever are just sitting there. They can't do shit. You have strange people that you don't know like sticking their hands inside of your body, and you're like, why are we monetizing this? It fucking should be monetized. People should be getting paid for giving birth, like, or at least given more support from our society than we already give them. But is nothing sacred anymore? Why can't we just go back to like the days of the manger, when only the beasts and the oxen were able to look in at on the newborn getting popped out? This is such a fucking stupid take. I'm sorry. Like, this is just like religious, conservative, reactionary bullshit that Charlie's spewing out right now.
Of course, I'm not her. I am not the family. She can do whatever she wants, but I'm giving you my perspective here, that to me, this seems like a sign of the time.
Why are you giving us your perspective on someone giving birth on camera? Like, that's never been done before. I'm sure I can find like more directly explicit videos on YouTube if I just search up live births. Have you ever been on a fucking farm, bro? Oh my god, this is such a dumb take. Yeah, I don't have much to say on this. Then why include it in your video? You needed to break the 15-minute long mark?
Where everything needs to be like content brand, content oriented. There's really no other reason to be.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's kind of I think people that do home births, if they have the choice to go to the hospital, are kind of insane. Like, I don't know what your take is on it, but like, god damn, I would not want to do a home birth. Dude, giving birth is the most physically taxing thing a human can possibly do, and I would want all precautions available to me if I have the choice. Like, obviously, if you go into labor early or something, or you're living in a rural area and you can't make it to a hospital, then you got to do what you got to do. But if you have the choice, man, go to the fucking hospital for your own safety and the safety of your child.
Be live streaming the delivery of your child, other than the obvious attention it's going to bring with it.
Like, I think a more powerful argument here, if you wanted to make a comment on this when you don't really have anything to say, which Charlie admitted to. What's his last name, by the way? Charlie. I keep wanting to say Charlie Kirk. He admitted to not having a lot to say. So you could just be like, this could possibly encourage people to do more home births, which is dangerous. This should not be done. They should be in a hospital setting where if anything goes wrong, heavens forbid, they have the tools and the capability to save the life of the mother and save the life of the child, rather than being surrounded by a bunch of like TikTok influencers. Like, you could say, if you wanted to be like this has gone too far, this is a sign of our degenerating society, you could easily do that. The fact that people feel like they're pressured into having to monetize this because that's how they make their money, they're making their money by monetizing every aspect of their lives, and they can't even feel comfortable going to the hospital to give birth because they're like, oh, this could give me like an algorithmic boost if I give birth in my studio rather than the hospital. Like, that's kind of fucked up. Not the idea that it's like this sacred moment and the lack of privacy is the issue here. Oh, you have like 10 people looking inside of your vagina when you're giving birth in a hospital. I don't think people care about privacy when they're giving birth, dude. Holy shit, spoken like a guy who's never witnessed a birth in his entire life, or anyone who gave birth.
And I don't know, to me that just feels so odd and so, I hate using this word,
dystopian. I hate using the word, but I'm gonna use the fucking word. You know what's dystopian to me? You being like, why does everyone do stuff for content while admitting you don't have a lot to say about the video, but forcing yourself to add it to your segment talking about Hasan's dog so you make it past like the 15-minute mark? Where you're selling like cheeky soap and cold moist drinks?
To me that just feels so odd and so, I hate using this word, dystopian. That word is like actual fucking like acid leaving my mouth because it's lost so much meaning with how overly it's used. But
I don't hear that used that much. I don't know what circles you're running in. I don't hear the word. In politics, dystopian is really not used that much, which is kind of funny because you would imagine that's where it should be used the most, especially the times we're living in right now.
this feels so dystopian to me.
Maybe you're
it
playing
turns
too
something
many
as sacred
dystopian video games, bro.
as life entering this world into a
as sacred as life entering this world into a monetizable event. Once again, dude, your issue is that they are monetizing it, not that they feel like they have to, or the safety concerns. You're like, why can't they just have this be a sacred moment between themselves, their family members, and like the 10 people that they have to have help delivering the child?
monetizable spectacle, an event that tons of people were watch partying like it was a fucking football game. So it's not just a baby that...
Also, it's kind of bullshit. Like, it's birth. It's a human part of life. Why are you mad? Why are you being prudish and like conservative about the fact that people are interested in watching someone that I guess they ostensibly care about going through a very human moment in their life? Like, birth is as human as and as essential to life as everything else. Like, it's probably the most essential aspect of people's lives, because everyone is born and like a lot of people give birth. You're like, why are people watching this? This is crazy. Why are people interested in one of the most important aspects of human existence? That's nuts.
Might need to be breastfed here. She actually went out and was breastfeeding the entirety of the Twitch ecosystem here with additional views for those streams that were watching and reacting to her giving birth. I just think that is so fucking sad that everything has to be content now. Before that baby can even have its first thought or open its eyes, it's already a piece of content. It's already in the social media chaotic swirl. It's already on camera. And to me, that's just crazy. But to a lot of people, it's not.
I take it back, bro. Your comment about this being dystopian was another level of interesting than, wow, it's so crazy that a baby was born on camera. I mean, a baby born on camera before they even had their first step? That's crazy. It's not like people have been fucking recording their children for decades and posting them online. What? Do you hate YouTube now? Do you hate baby videos on YouTube or funny kid compilation videos on YouTube? What is this take? This is such a fucking brain dead reactionary, I have nothing to say about this, but I'm going to try to pretend like I care about it take. Or, as Charlie would say, wow, that take is crazy, man. I can't believe that Charlie would talk about something. That's just like, that's crazy. Bro, really, yeah. You don't have to tell me you don't have much to say about it when you're like, I can't believe she gave birth on camera. That's just like, that's so crazy.
First thought or open its eyes, it's already a piece of content. It's already in the social media chaotic swirl. It's already on camera. And to me, that's just crazy. But
nothing more to say. That's just crazy. Wow, Charlie, you really earned those 1.3 million. Oh wait, no, this is 2.6 million views in like a day.
To a lot of people, it's not, which I think is just kind of concerning that we've deteriorated so much that everything is like expected to be content now.
Everything is expected to be content? Bro, there were a lot of people watching it because they weren't expecting a birth to be live streamed. What the fuck are you talking about? There were 100,000 people watching it. There were watch parties because they weren't expecting birth to be content. That was a new thing. Oh yeah, we're expecting. I got a bitch pregnant. We're gonna be live streaming it just because the expectations are put upon me, and it's just like I feel pressured into sticking a camera right up inside her as she's about to pop it out. Because you know, the expectations, people are going to want to see that in about like 2 years or whatever. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Everything's expected to be content.
Viewer of this streamer, why shouldn't I be allowed in the delivery room when she gives birth? In fact, that makes a lot of sense for me to be there, actually. I've watched her streams a lot. I don't know. I just don't like that. Again, I'm very happy that everything went super well here with the actual delivery of the baby, and everything seems to be very healthy, and I think that's great. I just truly cannot agree with the sentiment that this is somehow like a positive thing, because I don't view it that way.
But you can't explain why it's not. I can give you reasons why it's not a positive thing, but you can't. You just come up with bullshit fake reasons where it's crazy and it's concerning that people want to watch someone give birth. Really, why is it concerning that someone wants to see a content creator they follow give birth? Why is that concerning? I'll give you 2 reasons why it's not a good thing right off the bat. The potential safety risks of not being in a hospital setting when you're giving birth, the most extreme thing a human body can go through, and the reason that they feel like they need to make money off of this. Like, I think that's an indicator of how bad our society is economically, where you have like such a massive wealth disparity and such a lack of basic social safety networks that people do feel like they're forced to always be in this rat race. But I mean, you know, how many women give birth and then go back to their job within a week because they need to make that paycheck? How many men are like working that day because they don't have paternal leave to take care of their children? Like, this is a issue that's common for all working class people. You just have a stick up your ass about it because it was live streamed on Twitch, which happened to be the job of the mother. Like, that's her job, being on camera. But you don't complain when it's like a fucking barista going back to work in a few weeks after giving birth, and she's still all bent out of shape, not in good health, and, you know, should probably be breastfeeding her child, staying with the child, staying at home. Yeah, you don't have an issue with that.
This is very clearly content first, like content focused.
I mean, I had no idea who Charlie Critical, I'll just call him that. I had no idea, like, really what he talked about. I guess I just thought he was a gamer that started talking about like current events. But this is such a reactionary and conservative take that, like, I'm not surprised that you guys are saying that he's Republican coded. Like, I went into this just trying to get his take on the Hasan Kaya thing, because I saw like, oh my god, I'm so disappointed in him. So I'm like, oh, what did he have to say? But this is just like brain dead conservative bullshit. This is the same thing you'd hear from like Steven Crowder or Ben Shapiro. Wow, this is just, our society's degenerating. This is dystopian. Okay, and the reason it's dystopian is because of the person who did it, rather than all of the societal factors that contribute to this less than ideal circumstances of giving birth.
And everyone...
He's emblematic of most U.S. voters. I don't know. I think he's like pretty reactionary. I don't think most U.S. voters would be like, you know, making a video about someone giving birth on Twitch, but we'll see.
Can eat, so everyone gets a piece of content to watch this baby being born. It's, I don't know. I don't really like that idea. It somewhat reminds me of a joke I told a while ago about a piece of content about how I should deliver a baby. Like, how extreme that would be as like a banger video to deliver someone's baby. It's like, it's kind of like that joke, but unironically here. Like, it actually happened. Well, of course, not to the level of like some completely unqualified goober like delivering a baby, but just like the act of a child being born into this world immediately becoming a piece of content.
Bro, like, do you not think there's a difference between someone whose job it is to live stream giving birth on camera and you taking advantage of someone giving birth to be like, hey, if you let me pluck your baby out of you, I'll give you like $10,000. You can buy a pretty good bassinet with that amount of money. Like, you don't think that there's a difference in the creepiness of that? Them being like, oh, this is an important part of my life, let's do it on camera. Hopefully, like, they took all the safety precautions they needed to.
I just don't like that. Anyway, though, let's move on to the next subject. This is the one that is by far the biggest from yesterday, and probably one of just the biggest topics in general, which is Hasan and his dog.
But it is emblematic of all of America's much more consequential violence. Okay? It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop. Jesus Christ, what are you doing? You're being such a baby. It's just, you're making her stressed. She just literally is so incredibly spoiled from my mom.
Now, for the life of me, like, I cannot understand what he's even upset about in the first place. That he,
Bro, I have to pause and just, like, as long as we're hating on Charlie Critical, his tattoos are so bad. What is that hand tattoo, bro? What the fuck is this? Did you let your 3-year-old daughter use a Sharpie marker to draw a mandala on your hand? Dude, this looks so, is this armor on your forearm? Bro, these tattoos are not good. This is really bad. Okay, Charlie, hit me with your scintillating commentary that's going to rip the lid off of this whole thing. You know, you added 6 minutes, so I guess you had to get over that 20-minute mark.
You're making her stressed. She just literally is so incredibly spoiled from my mom.
now, for the life of me, like, I cannot understand what he's even upset about in the first place, that he starts, like, scolding the dog for.
I mean, now on second look, that might actually be something that he got done by Sharpie. It just looks horrible. It looks awful. Like, I would not be surprised if it was just Sharpie.
She moved like an inch, like slightly off of that. It's like in a video game, like in Metal Gear Solid, when someone gets like a fucking question mark over their head, they're like zipping to you immediately. Like, she doesn't do anything really other than move slightly, and he is noticeably upset. He is upset about that specific.
Noticeably upset, yeah. Telling her to get back into her spot. Wow, like, Hasan really got bent out of shape. I can tell because he told her to go back. He was really mad that she left her spot because, you know, he told her to go back onto her place.
Even before this incident, earlier in the stream, he had already, you know, gotten annoyed at her for moving around prior to this.
The absolute worst.
Okay, so what I love about this is the narrative that's being built, right? Hasan is an abusive dog owner. He has a shock collar on his dog's neck. And whenever she steps 1 foot off of her bed, he shocks her, right? He reaches over. The voltage is high enough, which it makes her yelp. But he gives us this clip that happened earlier in the exact same stream. And this is what the clip is.
Worst country on the planet, straight up, bar none, a capitalist shithole. Kaya, now is not the opportunity for you to down. The absolute.
First of all, I love how he talks to her, like, right? Kaya, now is, sorry, I guess I was kind of covering the picture, but now is not the time for you to be. Now is not the opportunity for you to, like, get up and play or whatever. But anyway, did you guys catch that? Here, let me move my camera. Did you guys catch that? Where he shocked the dog and she let out a yelp and then went back into her bed?
The absolute worst country on the planet, straight up, bar none, a capitalist shithole. Kaya, now is not the opportunity for you to down. The absolute worst.
Did you see where he used the shock collar on such a high voltage that she let out a yelp and her hair was singed because of the electricity pulsing through her neck? I know. Like, there's essentially no difference between this and putting a slug between your beagle's eyes in a gravel pit, as you set an example for the other animals, because they were a little bit unruly, and they chase some chickens when you on your farm. Like, holy shit, dude! Make this guy the head of the DHS.
Fucking place on the planet. Just a horrific.
So I think it's pretty clear that the dog moving off of that spot is what's making Hasan annoyed at her. Now, I saw he mentioned place.
Bro, like, Charlie, it's not that he's getting annoyed at her. It's that he's, like, telling her to go sit back down there. Like, you're just ascribing this position to Hasan when he's like, go sit back down. And then he's like, well, I can tell you're really getting annoyed by that. No, he's telling her to sit down when she's getting up. And, like, you know, it's because he doesn't want her sitting on the floor where he can run over her, or where, I guess, he's saying that it could hurt her joints if she's sitting on the floor rather than her cot. But let's let Charlie take this commentary away.
Place training. Place is an actual dog training.
Hey, thank you for joining the Green Name Club
Thing. And the whole idea behind it is designating a spot in a comfortable location for your pet. For a lot of people, I know it's like their office if they work from home. And Hasan was talking about how that area is her place. And for dog training, place is supposed to be like their happy spot where they are super safe and they feel super secure. And the way training goes with this, at least from everything I know about dog training, now keep in mind, when we first got Tetra, we did do dog training because my grandmother used to live with my parents, and Tetra gets very excited to see people. It's the cutest thing in the world, but she loves to jump on people. And my grandma, living at my parents, when we'd go to visit, or if they came to visit, if Tetra would jump on her, it could cause injury. So we did do dog training in order to learn how to, like, help with that. We didn't do any, like, fear training or anything like that with shock collars or whatever, but place was something that we did learn about. And when
shock collars are not fear training, by the way. Like, shock collars and vibration collars essentially have the same function, which is to get the dog's attention. If the dog is preoccupied on something else, you get its attention by giving it a little bit of a stimulus, an input, and that reminds it of, like, oh yeah, my owner's over there, let me go to him. Like Hasan says that when he lets Kaya roam off leash, he has the vibration collar on so that when she can't hear him call to her, he can hit the vibration and it will give her a little stimulus, and then that will remind her that, like, oh, my owner is calling me, Hasan's calling me, and she'll go back to him. I was watching some videos yesterday in that clip compilation that I put together, and that is how all of these dog trainers use their shock collars or vibration collars on their animals to get the dog's attention. If they're, like, chasing after someone, or if they're, like, playing with another dog or something, and the owner's like, all right, time to go, they could give it a little bit of an input there on their neck. It's not going to leave a singe mark. It's not going to burn them. It is a little electrical shock stimulus that essentially just, like, twitches their muscle. I've used shock collars on myself and, like, nerve stimulators, like medical grade nerve stimulators on you. Essentially, it just, like, makes your muscle twitch like that a little bit. Like, you put a nerve stim right on your hand, and it's like that. It doesn't leave a burn mark. You don't see this big electrical spark as it beams a pulse of energy out through the two prongs onto the dog. Now, it can be abusive, and that's why animal rights groups say that electric shock collars are not probably the best way to get that kind of stimulus on your dog. You can use clickers, you can use vibrating collars to get the same effect, because, like, electric shock collars are the easiest way to, like, be abusive, right? But by itself, when used in a proper way, that's not an abusive technique whatsoever. So when Charlie's like, oh yeah, we never, like, hurt the dog we never used pain or fear punishment with electric shock collars, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He just has not looked into this whatsoever. He got out of, I don't know what he was doing where he looked so greasy like this, but he clearly like didn't really put any thought into this video. And he's just kind of like spitting off the cuff, but let's let him continue.
And Tetra gets very excited to see people. It's the cutest thing in the world, but she loves to jump on people. And my grandma, living at my parents, when we'd go to visit, or if they came to visit, if Tetra would jump on her, it could cause injury. So we did do dog training in order to learn how to, like, help with that. We didn't do any, like, fear training or anything like that with shock collars or whatever, but place was something that we did learn about. And when it comes to place, you do not want to, like, make it something stressful for the animal, at least in our teachings. It's supposed to be a comforting spot for them, not like a stressful thing where they just go there and fucking, like, you know, blue screen in the brain and just sit there idly comatose. And if they don't, they get punished. So he's calling this her place, but when she's moving from the place, he's scolding her. That's not what we were taught you're supposed to do when it comes to place training. That kind of defeats the purpose of it. I don't know why he would be getting so upset at that, like angry at the dog for moving from place. That really does kind of defeat the whole purpose of it. And then in that clip, it seems like he reaches for something. Like he looks off screen and he extends his arm to something, and then shortly thereafter, the dog yelps in pain, and Hasan turns around and calls her a baby, and then tries to reassure the chat that she is spoiled, and then goes on to say that she's spoiled because his mother lets her, you know, have free roam around the house. Now,
yeah, he never said that. Charlie just made that up. He never said, my dog is spoiled because my mom lets him free roam around the house. Like, yeah, when Hasan's working, he says, go to your place. And then, I don't know, she needs to piss or whatever. She gets up. I mean, she's not there a lot of the time in his streams. You know, that's like the routine that he sets for the dog. Like, that's just something that Charlie made up. Also, yeah, Hasan doesn't use shock collars. He uses verbal commands. I mean, in every clip you see of him saying, go to place, Kaya, it's a verbal command. Charlie even included a clip of Hasan using a verbal command outside of the clip that's going viral of him allegedly shocking the dog. It's all verbal commands. He says that he only uses a vibration collar when she's free roaming and she can't hear his verbal commands. But yeah, let's continue, Charlie.
He and the community,
and he really is dragging this out. All right.
Are claiming that he didn't use a shock collar or anything, didn't like zap her, you know, fucking Palpatine lightning blast her or anything like that. She got her due.
Yeah, Albert, like, I have a dog. It's not trained. I like, look, if you want your dog to be trained, that's fine. I think bigger dogs like Kaya should definitely be trained, and especially if you live in a city, it should be trained. And if you want it to like be able to walk off leash or take it to dog parks, and you can like have those commands where, you know, you can cut through its distractions and it can come back to you, then you should definitely train it. But if you just like don't really give a shit and you're just gonna be like chilling with your dog, I don't know. I don't really care. I don't care for all of this strict like clicker training, electric shock training, vibration training, like the place command. You know, a good level of training is good, but I don't have really a desire to let my dog walk off leash. Like, I'm fine with it being on leash. But like, to each their own, I guess, right? It's cool for a dog to be able to come off leash and like hang out and stuff, and then you are like, all right, now come back, and then I will come back. Yeah, I just don't really have like the time or effort or energy to train my dog to be that obedient, right?
Claw stuck on that spot, and that's what made her yelp in pain. I guess quick dog lore breakdown, if you're not familiar with how those creatures function or anything. The dew claw is separate from like the paw pad area claws. The dew claw is a little higher up on the leg. And it's an old trait from back way in yesteryear when dogs needed that extra claw. It is just now an evolutionary leftover. It's still present, but it's not something that obviously gets utilized by dogs to the same degree it used to. It is a sensitive area. That is true. If you've ever cut your dog's nails, or if you've ever taken your dog to like a dog salon or something and they like gave your dog a nail trim, you probably noticed that when it comes to the dew claw, they're very, defensive on it, like cautious, because it is such a tender spot. I have watched this clip like fucking 10 or 15 times now. And today I had some friends come in from out of town, so obviously I've been out most of the day at the farm. And this was actually a conversational topic. It's become so big that it was brought up.
Charlie is explaining vestigial body parts to us, and he's saying that in yesteryear, the dew claw isn't used as much now as it was in yesteryear. A lesson on selective breeding by Charlie Critical.
By them. And every single person, and pretty much everyone I've seen online outside of Hasan and Hasan's community, is all saying the same thing. That yes, it looks like the dog does like touch its leg to that spot on the bed, but it doesn't look like it gets caught or anything. So it feels very unlikely that that is what caused the dog to scream in pain. Like, I don't think that's what made Kaya, that's her name, yelp. It doesn't seem to get caught or...
Like, look, dude, this argument just falls apart so quickly. You literally showed a clip of Hasan saying, place, and the dog didn't yelp, he didn't reach for anything. She went to her place, then he went back to his stream. Then, like 2 hours later, he does the exact same thing, says, place, but she yelps. So what was it? He didn't use the shock collar in the first time, and then 2 hours later, he reaches for the shock collar and gives her a zap, which is like way, like a level 9,000. Because, you know, a regular dog shock collar, gets some kind of reaction at like level 9, let's say. And that's the reaction is like the eyes light up from the dog. You can see professionals doing the dog collar training. So you're saying that like Hasan's such an evil, abusive person. He knows Kaya's limit. He knows the limit that would get her attention, and he purposely cranks it up way past that limit to the point where it will literally like leave burn marks on her neck just to cause her maximal pain. So he's just like a vindictive, evil person that is derives pleasure from causing his pet creature pain. And so he does that to like punish her for daring to get up from her spot for the second time in a stream. Like, that's what your conclusion's going to be if you say that Hasan shocks her. But because you showed a fucking clip of him saying go back to your bed without him shocking her and without her crying out in pain. Like, does he have her trained for the place command by voice, or does he need to use the shock collar? And if he uses the shock collar, he knows the proper level that would actually get her attention, because I'm assuming he's trained with it before, but he just has it cranked up like 10 times that amount just so he can inflict damage upon her, because that brings him pleasure for some reason.
But it doesn't look like it gets caught or anything. So it feels very unlikely that that is what caused the dog to scream in pain. Like, I don't think that's what made Kaya, that's her name, yelp. It doesn't seem to get caught or snagged on anything, and dew claws aren't so sensitive and so tender that even touching them would cause like a panicked scream or anything. Unless she has an injury there, but I don't think Hasan has mentioned that, at least not that I've seen.
It actually would. Like, what are you talking about? You just explained how a claw that's sensitive like that can cause a yelp from a dog. I don't think that's what happened. Once again, I think that she like took a bad step on her front left paw. But you just explained like it was sensitive, and then you're like, oh, but she wouldn't yelp. You don't know that. What are you talking about? You know what doesn't cause a dog to yelp? Getting shocked by a shock collar. That doesn't cause a dog to yelp. It gets its fucking attention. What are you talking about, bro?
So
have you ever clipped a dog's fingernails? They bitch and moan like you're fucking torturing them. Yes, it causes them to yelp.
It feels to me very unlikely that that's what caused it, based on everything that we can see. Now, initially, even Hasan's community was starting to question, did he just shock Kaya? Did he just use a shock collar on stream? And the clip instantly started going viral, and he kind of downplayed it and shrugged it off as like, oh, a bunch of bad actors attacking me for some fucking phony baloney, barnacles here, unbelievable, this is all a load of fish paste. And instead of doing what I think most people, like not even just streamers, just normal people would do, of like showing, no, look, it's not a shock collar, obviously I didn't shock my dog. He instead just brushes it off saying, nope, it's not a shock collar, you're stupid for thinking that it is. And that's the attitude that his community had as well, like, oh, you must have psychosis if you think it's a shock collar. Which I think is a little odd because it's the easiest thing in the world to prove, right?
Once again, dude, there's absolutely no evidence that Kaya was shocked. In fact, there's evidence against her being shocked because that's not how dogs react when they got shocked. And there's countless clips of Hasan saying, place, place, place. And she's never once let out a scream like that or a yelp like that. And so there's evidence against it being a shock collar. So why would Hasan, like, why do you think it's like creepy for Hasan to not be like, oh, well, here's my shock collar, or here's my collar. Of course it's not a shock collar. Like, anyone who's watching that with a logical mind would be like, oh yeah, of course, Hasan didn't shock the dog. Like, okay, so not only is there, so we've gone past the point of, oh, let's watch the video clip and use evidence to understand what's happening in the video clip. Now it's, that video clip is irrelevant, but the fact that Hasan didn't immediately take the collar off of his dog and show it to the camera and like give us his serial number and the receipt of where he bought it, that is damning. That's damning evidence. Not the clip itself is damning evidence, but the reaction of Hasan to like unhinged freaks being like Ethan Klein being like, yeah, I killed my dog by giving him a bunch of cheese, but Hasan's a real bad dog owner because his dog whimpered once when she was getting onto her bed. Or Destiny, who's like, yeah, I sexed with underage humans and I'm advocating for a fucking genocide to go on, but Hasan's the real bad actor because he didn't immediately show his his dog's collar to the camera. No, not like, because Hasan didn't immediately give in to those freaks being like, Hasan's a evil dictator who's killing his animal. That's damning. That's like concerning evidence that like these unhinged haters that really amplified this narrative. Hasan was like, these people are actually crazy and they don't actually care about the dog. They're just trying to undermine me. They're just trying to attack me from any kind of angle possible.
These people saying this shit, it's not true. Well, it takes like actually 3 seconds just to unclip that collar and just show like, hey guys, I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea here. This is not a shock collar. Look, here's what it is, and then explain it. Like, I feel like even a non-streamer, like a complete normie, average Joe Schmo, if you went to their house and saw that happen, or like, hey, did you just shock that dog? They'd be like, oh my god, no, this is clearly a misunderstanding. No, that's not what happened. Like, I feel like most people would be very quick to show you and prove that it's not a shock collar because it's so quick and so easy to do. And the fact that he doesn't is odd. Like, it is very peculiar. Why wouldn't you in the moment? Like, that's such a natural thing to do, especially for what's easily a slam dunk. Like, you have all these people attacking you, you could easily just come out and fucking slam jam thank you ma'am on them by just being like, nope, it's not a shock collar, look, here you go, the proof is in the pudding, behold. Like, it'd be so quick, so simple, and it would be irrefutable. But that didn't happen yesterday. Instead, it was kind of brushed off as like, you've got to be fucking stupid to think that Hasan would shock his dog on stream.
Like, I'm sorry, you do have to be fucking stupid. If you're a fucking political commentator, you have to be a moron to be like, Hasan shocked his dog. You actually have to be. Either you're bad faith or you're a moron. Either you're like, oh, this is an easy dog pile that I can get on Hasan for, or you're actually just a moron, because anyone who's like experienced dogs a tiny bit or the tiniest bit of research on either shock collars or Hasan and Kaya would understand that it's like, oh, that's interesting. Hasan has never had a moment where Kaya's let out a yelp before when he said place to go back onto her cot, right? He's never done that before. Kaya has never let out a yelp, so maybe Hasan's not using a shock collar to enforce her to lay down in the corner. Maybe this was a one-time anomaly where she had a bad step, or she like brushed her claw against the bed, and then that caused some pain. Like, right? Like, Hasan was surprised by the pain. That's why he stared and he looked at her for a few seconds before turning back to the stream, because he's like, what was that? So there's that. You can also look up the actual effects of shock collars and see that they don't cause pain to the point where the dog is yelping out whenever they're, hit with the electrical stimulus. It's actually just like a short little input that gets their attention. You can do the bare minimum of research into any number of different categories and understand that what happened was not an electric shock on the dog, right? So like, yeah, you do have to be a fucking moron to see that clip and then go online and be like, Hasan shocked his dog, case closed, he's an animal abuser, and fuck the Palestinians. The only people that advocate for them are animal abusers. Like, this is what we're getting, man. And yeah, Charlie, I'm sorry, like I'm lumping you in with this group of people.
And he just kind of propped it up as like the only people that would believe this are like bad people in the first place, or like, grifters, this kind of thing. And I just find that to just be so disingenuous, because most people are going to see this and it looks like you shock your dog. Given how annoyed you are with the dog, and right before she yelps out in pain, you roll your eyes, you look at something off screen, you clearly are like, you are reaching off screen, that is very clear, and then the dog yelps while you were still annoyed, and then instead of doing like what I feel like most dog owners would do, would like check to see like, is everything all right? Why'd she just yelp in pain? Instead of doing that, calling her a baby and then mentioning how spoiled she is about roaming the house, like that.
He never said she's spoiled because she roams the house. You just made that up out of whole cloth. Also, he literally stared at her for a few seconds because he's like, why did she yelp? Oh, she looks fine. And then he's like, oh, she's a baby, because she like yelped because she had to lay down, or yelped because she like hurt herself getting back into the bed. Like, dude, holy shit. Have you ever owned a fucking dog? You've never looked at your dog and been like, you're a baby when you barked to complain about something? When you're like, oh, you didn't get a treat that you wanted, or you finished the last bite of your turkey Thanksgiving dinner, and then the dog's like, roof, roof, like they wanted a piece of the turkey, but you ate it all, and so they bark, and you're like, you're such a baby, you're so spoiled. You sound like someone who's never experienced having a pet before in your life. And I'm sorry, dude, if you look at what Hasan did to Kaya, and you're like, oh my god, he has a bed in the corner of his room, and he tells her to lay in the bed. Or, oh my god, he said that she's a baby and she's spoiled. Or, oh my god, she has a collar on and it's very tight. Then you are against pet ownership in general. Like, dude, like if we're getting into the morality of pet ownership, having children is one thing. At least they can grow up and have some kind of self-determination when they're adults. But buying a fucking dog, like, yeah, I don't know, man. There's a lot of animal abuse that goes on. And even if you give them the best possible life, you're still going to have control over them. And in certain lights, like from a certain view, that kind of control is pretty fucked up. Oh, Hasan plays with Kaya like 3 hours a day in the morning and then takes her for an hour-long walk at night. Oh, that's so much exercise that she's getting. But like, oh, she has to stay inside so many times. Oh, someone goes to work for an 8-hour shift. Their dog has to just spend 8 hours inside holding their piss and their shit until the owner gets home and they have no kind of stimulation whatsoever. Like, these are issues with pet ownership in general. If you don't like the idea that a dog sits in a bed for 4 hours, then you should be an anti-pet advocate. Where is your picket sign? Where is the, like, let's not even get started about the moral abomination, which is like the meat industry in general. Like, dude, this is such fake, phony outrage from these people. Oh my god, a dog lays in a bed for 4 hours. I can't believe this is happening. Really, either you've never had a pet and you're against pet ownership altogether, or you are being disingenuous to try to smear Hasan for bullshit reasons, honestly.
That doesn't compute. If this was her dew claw getting stuck there and then yelping in pain, you would have no idea why she's yelping. Why is your first instinct to call her a baby and then mention how spoiled she is about, you know, your mom letting her roam the house? The response to it...
Also, like, you just made that up. Hasan never said she was spoiled because his mom lets her roam the house. He literally never said that. He's fine with her roaming the house. What he doesn't want her to do is just lay on the fucking ground where he's going to run over her, or he says that her joints will get hurt from laying there. And also, it is good for a dog to have routine. It is good for a dog to have a spot that is its own and it can feel safe and comfortable there.
It just doesn't really seem to make sense if what happened is her dew claw getting stuck there. I just don't see why he would respond that way, like so like aggressive about it. It just doesn't really make sense. Now, a bunch of super sleuths were diving in, like really analyzing frame by frame. Apparently, Hasan has mentioned that she does have like an air tag on her collar. People also saw like a doohickey underneath the air tag right before the moment where she yelps, where there's like a green blinking gadget there, a little fucking gizmo. And people were speculating that's probably the shock collar. And now today, Hasan went on stream to show the collar and explain what it is that everyone saw.
This is the one that people are talking about. Okay, this is the one. This is the one that they saw. It has the capacity to vibrate, and that's it. Are you happy? That's it. Good. There's the air tag. There's the fucking vibrator. It also has a flashlight component to it at nighttime, and it also has a tracker on it when she gets lost. If she were to actually get fucking lost.
So on stream, he was showing that the unit everyone saw is something that can only vibrate, it can't shock. It also has like other things like a flashlight and stuff. And then he went on to explain like why he has a vibrator there for the sake of like training and that kind of thing. Now, since this was a day later, obviously people are...
Which, like, a vibrator for dog training does the exact same thing as an electric shock collar. The only difference is that there is more potential for abuse with an electric shock collar because, you know, there's different settings and you can cause, like, more pain and discomfort. But a vibration collar can just be, as discomforting as an electric shock collar, which is why it's important if you're going to train a dog on vibration, you start it off with vibration immediately and you don't like really oscillate between the two. And guys, I'm sorry to say this, but I do think the collar Hasan has on Kaya is an e-collar with an electrical stimulation mode. I spent a lot of time looking this up yesterday, and I can literally not find a different collar brand than the one that people like Lonerbox were pointing to, claiming that that's the one Hasan had. Now, that being said, Hasan said that the collar Kaya's wearing is has vibration functionality only. And I agree with him. The reason why is because you can, like these collars that are sold, have a stimulation function, and they also have a vibration function. And you can take the prongs off of it. You can essentially disable the vibration function and have it be, or not, you can disable the stimulation function and have it be in a vibration only. So while the collar that, like, look, at the end of the day, the fact that the collar that Hasan has may have a stimulation function on it is completely irrelevant. There's no evidence that he has ever used it on the dog. In fact, there's evidence that like the clip that's going viral was not Kaya being stimulated. It was Kaya getting told to go sit back down and like hurting herself in the process. And when Hasan says that the collar has vibration mode only, even if it does have like a stimulation property to it, if you take the prongs out, it doesn't have the capability to use that stimulation. So it would be effectively a vibration only collar at that point. So like at the end of the day, the collar that it is irrelevant. It doesn't have the vibration prongs on, or it doesn't have the stimulation prongs on it. And there's no evidence that he's ever used stimulation prongs on his dog, least of which is that clip. Someone contacted the manufacturer. You can't remove the prongs on the collar. He showed you can only purchase the non-prong version. Oh, interesting. So you can purchase the non-prong version? Well, that might be a different case then. I haven't seen a non-prong version of it, but if you can, like that's the thing. Like I think that there were different versions that I just wasn't seeing. But I'm open to having my mind changed on that. Because it's like not an exact match with any of the models that I was looking at. So it might actually be like a custom made collar that Hasan bought, which would not be out of the realm of possibility when you're talking about dropping like $300-400 on a e-collar, like a remote controlled collar.
Going to be wondering, is this...
Liz, you linked above. I don't know if links work in chat. If you want to email me the link, I can pull it up. I have my email in my channel description. Yeah, I don't think links work in YouTube chat.
real? Like, is he telling the truth? Like, you could have swapped it out. You could have changed out the previous model with one that doesn't have shocking capabilities. Because there are vibrate-only units, and there are some that have vibrate and shock. Something he also mentions that those kind of things do exist. But since this was so far after the fact, people are always going to wonder, well, did he just switch it?
Literally a day. Also, Hasan said he has multiple collars for the dog, so it's irrelevant whether he switched it out or not, right? Like, dude, the fact of the matter is that clip shows zero evidence of Kaya being shocked. That's the fact. So you can't be like, oh, well, he could have switched the collar out. Yeah, well, did the fucking clip show her getting shocked or not?
Out. And something else that spawned from this is, it looks like there's tape on it. So when you watch it and you like pay attention to the actual unit, it looks like there is just some black tape on it. And a bunch of people online started to try and find out what brand this is, because I don't know if I missed it and everyone else missed it, but I don't think...
God damn it, Liz. You're like, do you know how many hours I spent painstakingly looking at all the details of this call? I spent way too long. I was going to stream yesterday, and it said I made a fucking 2-minute long video covering this bullshit. Okay? And you're like, I'm too lazy to log into my email? You're tantalizing me with this information that I've spent hours trying to find, and now you're like, oh, well, I'm not going to email it to you because I don't care enough. Oh my God. You should have said anything then.
He mentioned what model this is, like what brand or what model, anything like that. So people don't know what it is. They're just going to have to like take his word for it that this is a vibrate-only unit. And since there's no visible prongs, you're led to believe that it can't shock or anything. However, there are shock collars that have detachable prongs. In fact, the shock collars we use on Skill Check channel when we play Magic the Gathering and make a misplay and we shock ourselves, you can take the prongs off of those. I think that's a pretty standard feature.
So you have shocked yourself with a shock collar before.
A lot of shock collars, I think. So like you can just take the prongs off. And when you increase the brightness here, it does seem like there's definitely tape. I've seen this picture floated around a lot, and people believe that they have narrowed it down to a model called the Educator ET400, which seems to match it visually 1-to-1 in all aspects except for the bottom side there, where on the ET400 there are 2 prongs there, but you can take those prongs off from what I can tell, at least online, and in the Hasan clip, there's a bunch of tape there, which potentially would be there to cover up the holes. I don't really know.
Bro, oh my God. You can see the prongs being taken off. There's still little rivets sticking out, dude. Like, you can't cover bolts that are sticking out of the shock collar with tape. If you put tape on 2 protuberances, it's going to not be flat. The tape in that picture is flat. Like, listen, there are so many fucking countless reasons to tape the bottom of a collar. Maybe the battery casing's falling off. Maybe it was rubbing on the dog in a bad way. Maybe there was personal information such as his address for if she ever got lost, and he covered it up on stream before showing it to like hundreds of thousands of people that are going to be looking at that clip. And last of all, that doesn't even really look like tape. I'm sorry, man. Like, I know you're like, oh, well, we increased the brightness on this. does that look like tape? Doesn't really look that much like tape to me, man.
I believe that they have narrowed it down to a model called the Educator ET.
Yeah, I really like it. Just looks like another part of the strap or something. I don't know. It just looks like part of the. It looks like part of the fucking collar.
400, which seems to match it visually 1-to-1 in all aspects except for the bottom side there, where on the ET400 there are 2 prongs.
Hasan uses the hacksaw that he has in his basement to chop up homeless people that he dressed in Teddy Fresh outfits, to shave the metal prongs off of the collar. Okay, let's just pull this up now since we're talking about this. I saw something in here. It was pretty funny. This subreddit is loving this shit. They're all like being internet sleuths. Where was it? It was some guy. He's like, I bought this collar. Look at this shit, dude. Like, you're telling me they care about Kaya being shocked? The Educator PG300 vibration collar? Wait, your email is... Okay. The PG? That might be it. I don't know. I think it's seriously like a custom collar that is on ad. But like, look, you're telling me the issue that people criticizing Hasan have with this whole thing is the potential animal abuse? That's what you're telling me? And you're getting this picture posted here? This is funny. Showing my dog's old e-collar and how the prongs can easily be removed. Do we have commentary?
That everyone's been talking about with Hasan. This is pretty much the same model he has. He is lying. He does have this version, not the vibration. I mean, this looks identical. When he was covering it with his thumbs, trying to cover it all up, he put tape here. Let me show you.
So, just one quick thing, like, let's say that is tape. You can clearly see that there's like the serial number of the collar here, and then a space for you to write down information about the dog. And that was what's covered up.
Actually remove the prongs. I just want to show you how easy that is. It's that easy, guys. And he taped it.
So then they're like, oh, Hasan taped it, and you know, the tape that just completely covers these 2 metal spikes that are sticking out of the dog collar, right? Right, like this dog collar that has the 2 metal spikes. Like, yeah, we all know that tape has magical properties that transport items that would stick past the plane of the tape into another dimension. That Hasan just used magical tape to cover it up.
It's that easy, guys. And he taped it.
Okay, now take these things out.
And also the e-collar model, not the vibration one, has the charging port in the middle. It all checks out. But yeah, he taped that up. He tried to hide it. He tried to hide that part. But it's the same type of collar, guys. Bog standard e-collar.
Well, I mean, we got to give that guy a break. He was kind of nervous. You can tell his hands were shaking all over. Okay, let's take it away, Charlie.
There, but you can take those prongs off from what I can tell, at least online. And in the Hasan clip, there's a bunch.
Bro, you have a fucking shock collar. You just said you use it for your Magic the Gathering videos. What are you doing, bro? You could have taken it apart.
Of tape there, which potentially would be there to cover up the holes. I don't really know what else there would be tape there for. I don't really get that. Like, it
not
doesn't
holes.
make a ton of sense.
Doesn't make
But of course,
holes.
I have no way of knowing 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt that Hasan shocked Kaya on that stream or anything like that. But based on the old...
What did he say?
But of course, I have no way of knowing 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt that Hasan shocked Kaya on that stream or anything like that. But based on the old eyeball test, the old smell test, what you can literally see, he is annoyed with Kaya. He expressed it a couple of times, scolded her. He rolls his eyes. He does reach for something off screen. And as he is reaching, it seems like when he finally gets to something, she yelps in pain. And then there's no real, like, concern from him, and instead talks about why she's like a spoiled baby. I don't see anything that she could have, like, hurt herself on. It doesn't seem like her dew claw or anything gets tangled up in the bed. So, to me, it feels like it is something he did. Even if it's not a full-blown shock, he didn't get her with, like, a Dungeons & Dragons lightning bolt or anything like that. If it is a vibrate-only unit,
And Charlie is really funny, man. Like, his references they're always fresh, and they're hyper-relevant to the context that he's talking about. Yeah, just don't buy your... just, like, we know that the Zionist H3 fans, they're fine to own shock collars because they pledge their allegiance to Israel. Just don't buy your shock collars from Israel. We all know what happened with the pagers that they got from Israel. We just have to keep Kaya Piker protected, because we don't want these small devices strapped around our animals' necks, because you never know when Israel's going to do another terror attack.
It's like a spoiled baby. I don't see anything that she could have, like, hurt herself on. It doesn't seem like her dew claw or anything gets tangled up in the bed. So, to me, it feels like it is something he did. Even if it's not a full-blown shock, he didn't get her with, like, a Dungeons & Dragons lightning bolt or anything like that. If it is a vibrate-only unit, I feel like he definitely did press the vibrate in that instance there. I see nothing else.
Dude, like, that's such a fucking brain-dead take. You just showed an example of Hasan saying, go back to your bed, and, like, she didn't yelp, she didn't do anything. If she yelped because of the vibrate, are you saying it vibrated violently enough for her to be, like, she got hurt from the vibrate, she got hurt from the shock, but in every other instance when Hasan says go to your place, it's a verbal command that she doesn't get hurt by. But, like, the one time when he was reaching for something, she let out a yelp, even though he, like, never reached for anything in all other circumstances.
That would cause that yelp here from everything that we can clearly see. And if that is the case, and that, to me, that's what it seems like the case is, that's super fucked up. She didn't do anything wrong. Member. I don't think there's anything to warrant him being upset in the first place. And to be upset enough to press a, like, correctional button on that device is so beyond fucked. There was no bad behavior or any kind of correction or punishment needed to be doled out there. All she did was move on the bed slightly, like slightly move off the bed. I think it's super fucked up. But if this is all wrong, it's all a bunch of hooey, and Hasan didn't shock or vibrate or do anything at all here to cause Kaya to yelp in pain, I think it would have been very easy to immediately in the moment prove that by just showing the collar, which, again, I feel like is the most logical thing most people would have thought to do. But also, B, I still think all of his...
Like, dude, this is just, it's like, oh, your dog gets up and goes to try to sit by you, and you say place, which you've done thousands of times throughout the years you've had the dog. And this time she let out a yelp. He looked at her, made sure she was fine, went back to the stream. Then he, like, a few hours later, he realizes that clip has gone completely viral. And you're like, well, he didn't immediately be like, oh, well, you know, this collar that she's been wearing for years and no one has ever had an issue with or accused of being a shock collar, because it's not a shock collar and there's no evidence that it is. So why would they assume it is? This collar that I've had on her for years is not a shock collar. See, everyone? Like, this completely normal incident that I didn't think anything about because it happens multiple times every single fucking day. It's just that, you know, I reached for something and then she yelped at the exact same time, so it looked like it was something I did. Like, this is fucking god shit. It's like, oh, when I killed a chicken inside of 3 different concentric circles, we had a good harvest this year. That must mean that every time I kill a chicken, we have a good harvest. Like, this is a return to fucking pagan peasant brained A happened and then B happened, so A must cause B. This is actually just like, I guess, kind of just the most basic dumbass brained like proto logic that you're getting from Charlie. Like, you're really getting a return to monkey here Charlie moment where he's like, oh, Hasan reached for something and Kaya yelped, thus it must mean that when Hasan reaches, Kaya yelps. It's like a fucking Pavlovian response that we're getting from Charlie. Ironic when we're talking about dog training in this video.
Like, anger and like annoyance at the dog for moving around off her place is just fucking weird too. And then of course people were mentioning how Kaya is on stream 8 to 10 hours a day, and then just all of a sudden randomly he decides to shock her today. Yeah, great story you've got there, Buster. Really shows how stupid everyone's become. Everyone's really fucking dumb to believe in something like this, all just because he hasn't in the past on stream. And then, of course, people take it a step further, saying
it's not just that he hasn't shocked her in the past on stream. He's given her the exact same command for thousands of times. He's done that. What are you talking? If the command worked for thousands of times, why would he shock her now? This is so dumb, bro. And also, like, you know that's not how shock collars work. Like, we know that's not how shock collars work. We know Hasan uses verbal commands of place. You yourself said you use the verbal command of place for your dog, and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe he uses the verbal command of place, and then he would like shock her for it. And just because he hasn't done it before doesn't mean he didn't. Just because he hasn't done it before doesn't mean that he didn't do it this time. Yeah, man. Like, Hasan also hasn't skinned a guest live on his show before, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to do it. You better watch out if you go over to his house. You never know what he could do.
None of his friends have ever called him out for using a shock collar, thus this has to be a load of, fucking horseradish. I think this is a very weak argument, because I know if Hasan does use a shock collar, he would never let any of his friends see that, because he would know that they would call him out for it and give him shit for it, especially someone like Maya. So they just wouldn't know. Thus, they wouldn't be able to call him out on it or anything like that. And
what the fuck are you talking about? If the dog is wearing the collar, what do you mean, bro? She's wearing the collar on a stream in front of hundreds of thousands of people. But like, he's hiding it from his friend? Oh my god. This is actually the stupidest thing that he said. His friends that come over to his house wouldn't know because he wouldn't let them see. But he let the entire fucking world see because he did it on camera. So he's like a Patrick Bateman style psychopath dealing interpersonally with like 6 people. But in front of hundreds of thousands of people on his stream, he just lets the voltage fly. He cranks it up to 11 and blasts her. He does like a fucking Raiden Mortal Kombat style fatality on his dog because his friends aren't in the room with him. What? Oh yeah, Hasan is just like, every step is planned out. Interpersonally though. When he's streaming, all bets are off and he just lets his freak flag fly. Oh yeah, Maya, she cares about animals. I can't let her know that my dog wears a shock collar. But I hope she doesn't tune into my stream ever, or like someone send a clip of her of my stream to her. Well, because that would tank that relationship. Dude, it's a dog wearing a collar. Do you think every time he like sees them, he switches the collar out, but yet he'd put the collar on stream? This is actually such a fucking stupid take. I can't believe I just heard him say this. I don't even think Ethan Klein would give a take this bad. The fucking guy whose brain has holes wormed into it. Like, he doesn't even give a take this bad where he's like, oh well, Hasan's friend, like, he'd just say Hasan's friends are lying for him. Not that Hasan switches out the collar for them, but not in front of hundreds of thousands of viewers. What are you talking about, bro? You have to run that back one more time.
Horseradish.
So, dude, horseradish, that's a load of horseradish isn't a saying, you fucking moron. Just say horse shit. This is pissing me off. You're a fucking Ned Flanders-y, folksy ass sayings that aren't real. It's gibberish. You're dumbing down America by saying bullshit that's not actually real English. Oh yeah, this is like a video game when you see an exclamation mark on their head, then they all come at you. No, it's not. That's literally the opposite of what happened. Hasan didn't come at her. He wasn't aggroed by her. It was a slight, like, Kaya got up and started moving off the bed, and he gave her a small command. That's not the same thing whatsoever. Then you're like, oh, this is a load of horse radish. Shut the fuck up, you fucking moron. Fucking caveman ass bitch. Dude, I came into this. Charlie Critical is like, oh yeah, he's just some like greasy Florida guy that makes YouTube videos. I didn't realize that he was this reactionary and stupid. I thought he was actually like, I don't know, I thought he was entertaining at least. This is so bad.
Anger and like annoyance at the dog for moving around off her place is just fucking weird too. And then of course people were mentioning how Kaya's on stream 8 to 10 hours a day, and then just all of a sudden randomly he decides to shock her today. Yeah, great story you've got there, Buster. Really shows how stupid everyone's become. Everyone's really fucking dumb to believe in something like this. All just because he hasn't in the past on stream. And then of course, people take it a step further, saying none of his friends have ever called him out for using a shock collar, thus this has to be a load of, you know, fucking horseradish. I think
like, you're trying to censor yourself to not say horse shit, but you say fucking horseradish?
Is a very weak argument. Because I know if Hasan does use a shock collar, he would never let any of his friends see that. Because he would know that they would call him out for it and give him shit for it, especially someone like Maya. So they just wouldn't know. Thus, they wouldn't be able to call him out on it or anything like that. And this whole idea of making an assumption...
But they're calling him out now, right? Now that the evidence has been laid bare, right? They're calling him out now, right? Are they? Oh, they're not calling him out? Okay. Then why would you say this, bro?
Based on things that are outside of what is clearly visible here, I think is useless. Just because you haven't seen it in the past on stream doesn't mean it's not something he's done before, or it is very possible this was the first time. That's also very true too. What are shock collars used for? Training. And what is he currently doing with Kaya, at least based on what I've heard him talk about? Training her.
No, he's not. You just showed a clip of where he used a... Bro, I'm losing my mind. You just showed a clip in this video where he said place and she went to her bed. That's a verbal command. That means she's trained. What? So she hasn't been trained until now. So that shock was the first time Hasan decided to start training her. So all of those other times when he said, Kaya, place, or Kaya, now is not the opportunity for you to get up, go back to your bed. That was just a coincidence. That was just like the fucking random particles colliding around, and due to the physics of the universe, Kaya just ended up being going into the same spot that Hasan uses verbal commands to tell her to go to. That's insane, man. Hasan's got to play the lottery. Oh yeah, he just started training her fucking 2 days ago. He's had this dog for what, 2.5 years, and he just started training her 2 days ago. You played a clip where he proved she was trained. What is going on? Did he just lose his mind? Like, he forgot what he played 10 minutes ago? Bro, you played a clip right here.
He had already, gotten
you said he had already done this before he allegedly shocked her.
Slightly, and he is noticeably upset. He is upset about that specifically. Even before this incident, earlier in the stream, he had already, gotten annoyed at her for moving around prior to this.
Dude, this is 14 minutes earlier. You said he had already gotten annoyed, where you played a clip of him giving her a command.
The absolute worst country on the planet, straight up, bar none, a capitalist shithole. Kaya, now is not the opportunity for you to... Down.
What an untrained beast. What a fucking berserker of an animal here. Just looking at this guy, and then when he says down, she lays down. Absolute just dumb luck, I guess, according to Charlie. So you have this very obediently trained dog who seemingly does every single thing her owner slash like dad tells her to do, and they have this very intimate connection where like she knows these specific commands.
Capitalist shithole. Kaya, now is not the opportunity for you to down. The absolute.
So you have that to now Charlie being like, maybe Hasan just started training her in the clip where he used the shock collar. When he was streaming that, and he was streaming the entire time, bro. Like, did he get up and put the shock collar on her?
Out for using a shock collar, thus this has to be a load of, fucking horseradish. I think this is a very weak argument, because I know if Hasan does use a shock collar, he would never let any of his friends see that, because he would know that they would call him out for it and give him shit for it, especially someone like Maya. So they just wouldn't know. Thus, they wouldn't be able to call him out on it or anything like that. And this whole idea of making an assumption based on things that are outside of what is clearly visible here, I think is useless. Just because you haven't seen it in the past on stream doesn't mean it's not something he's done before, or it is very possible this was the first time. That's also very true too. What are shock collars used for? Training. And what is he currently doing with Kaya, at least based on what I've heard him talk about?
I can't believe he's like, oh, Hasan shocking the dog on stream. That was the first ever time he started training her.
Training her, or at least expanding the training on place. So maybe he decided that this might be a good tool to use for the first time. That's
like, dude, do you hear yourself? You're like, Hasan, you played a clip of Hasan having perfect training with Kaya, where she said, go back to your place and down. And she went back to her place and then laid down. And then you're like, maybe he's using the shock collar and he wanted to start her off on it for the first time. He was streaming the entire time, bro. Oh my God, it's actually like numbing my mind how stupid of a take this is. Like, I feel like I've made this abundantly clear why this is dumb. You don't need, like, Hasan was streaming, he has the dog trained already. You don't train a dog with an electric shock collar by just like randomly zapping it. It's not how you train dog. Oh my God, bro.
Also entirely possible. It's not some like,
he's had the dog for years and you're saying he just started training it 2 days ago? What are you talking about?
Far-fetched, crazy conspiracies that only haters are drumming up and falling in line with.
I mean, you're making a good case for only idiots are believing that Hasan shocked his dog.
It's a very plausible thing based on what is clearly visible in the clips. Anyway, just wanted to blabber about this a bit. Yeah, I know I've been very out of touch.
Yeah, blabber is a good word for it. That's a good way to describe what you did. Maybe like blather, because that was bad. What the fuck was that, dude? Okay. Oh my God. Okay. How much do I hit? Are there any other good videos about this Hasan dog thing? Because like I think we covered it. This was the one I wanted to watch. Oh, you know what? We could watch. I do want to see some reactions from the H3 podcast. I've had dogs my whole life. Never did any of them ever yelp out in pain and not have me stop what I was doing and inspect what was wrong. We can debate the collar all day, but it is 100% low-key psycho shit to see your dog cry out in pain and you actively ignore it. Like, did you not see the video where Hasan stopped his stream and was like staring at his dog?
I'm doing it.
Oh yeah, they're really concerned about Kaya Piker here, right? Right? Really concerned about this?
In the best possible way.
Because he removed the prongs after? Fucking dipshit. What? What is this? If Hasan removed the prongs of the shock collar, how exactly did he manage to shock her? Oh. Because he removed the prongs after. Once again, like...
Crazy.
You remove the prongs and there's little studs sticking out that were clearly not there. Hasan's girlfriend alleged. You think that this kind of outrage we'd see towards the genocide? Like, once again, it's very interesting how the H3 crew is trying their hardest to, like, dive into Hasan's personal life and stuff. Like, he's not like Ethan, where he throws his kids out in front of everyone and, like, his wife, and really, like, kind of forces the intimate information onto his audience. Okay, like, so once again, Charlie Critical was like, Hasan's friends don't know that he has a shock collar because they would really care about it. And so if it's proven to them, then they'd disavow it. Okay, and Charlie Critical said that it's proven that Hasan uses a shock collar. So now we'll see if his friend disavows it.
Crazy. You would think that this kind of outrage, we would have seen it towards like the genocide and stuff, but you know, this priorities in this world are not where they should be. But alas, it's herd mentality. I mean, I think from the clip, it's understandable why people were very concerned. But just knowing Hasan and knowing like how I've been around Kaya a lot and him, and I just like know that he would never ever abuse. Crazy.
Okay, so the clear evidence apparently isn't evidencing. What are the comments here? So you can't care about two things. Oh my god, this was the top comment. So I added the you. Like, they didn't even write you. So can't care about two things. Got it. Not even a comma or a period. So can't care about two things. Got it. Yes, we're dealing with the best and the brightest in the subreddit. The fetishization of the genocide is so the fetishization of the genocide being like, there's a genocide going on. People don't care about it, but a dog squeals as it steps onto a bed and the world goes crazy. That's fetishizing a genocide. Is Val even an advocate for Palestinians besides a few vague retweets here and there? Well, you know what Valkyrie didn't do? She didn't make it her entire fucking mission of her public-facing content to ruin the lives of pro-Palestinian content creators. That's what Valkyrie didn't do, which is the bare minimum. And I can't say the same about these two people.
So beautiful. I wouldn't even breathe in the direction of Moist if I were you, to be honest.
Ooh, what's his reaction to Moist Critical?
I mean, he put his fucking flag on the, he put his stake on this, okay? He was like, oh, enough people shit on him. It's good enough. It's like obviously not a, it's obviously, no matter how fucking made up a narrative.
Yeah, you guys can look it up. I'm just interested, like, I love these unhinged takes. Moist Critical mod has to shut down Hasan threads after Snark attacks him. Ooh, here we go. If Charlie goes on to make another video, Redditor voice. If Charlie goes on to make another video about this situation, I'll post it as a mega thread and only allow conversation there. I'm sorry if this comes across as censorship or me taking Hasan's side. I'm trying to do neither. I just personally don't like seeing such negativity and hate on the sub. Users like YouBlap are messaging me in private messages after I've told them to stop. They have made fun of my profile, my interests, and even my profile picture. Wait, you have a profile picture on Reddit? Which I told them was taken by my little brother who passed away from cancer. What the fuck is this, dude? Why are you posting this here? Not to mention the excessive amount of hate and lies they've spread on this sub about Charlie and others. Please don't attack this individual. I've truly never felt so much hate in my entire existence and honestly scared. One guy messaging you? I'm sorry, this is so sad. What is always the bridesmaid mod, never the bride has spoken. When you spend every waking moment defending your Zionist pro-harassment leader. Oh, okay, this is too much Reddit for me. I'm sorry that a moist critical mod on Reddit got bullied for his interests. I'm very sorry about that. Cyberbullying is not okay. Okay, what is this? Imagine, one day I'm sitting at my desk doing my live show as usual. Suddenly, one of my dogs laying behind me tries to get up and walk out of frame. I scold my dog for moving while I reach across the desk. My body language indicates that I've reached whatever object I'm aiming for. Man, Ethan should write fan fiction. I think it'd be good. At the exact same time, my dog yelps out in pain. I show no concern for my dog. The opposite. I continue to fume at my dog for moving. My dog exhibits fear and returns to their spot. Now, Anissa, Idibs, Taylor Lawrence, Mike from Pa, and every shit tier Hasan dick rider across all social media. How do you suppose they would react? Well, considering Ethan has killed his dogs before, I don't think it'd be that. I don't think it'd be the one taking dog training advice from Ethan Klein. The viewers are all Nazis.
The 1970 hot dog
funny. Wait, what is this?
Cooker. I guess it electrocutes the hot dogs and cooks them. Let's see if it works.
Yeah, this is what people think the dog collar does.
Nobody.
Okay, I need to mute this shit. Is there anything else that's interesting on this? Other than that, I'm not really. I think we can cover. I think we can stop. Yeah, what does Ethan have to say about the dog collar? Ethan dog collar. I do have to say the memes of Hasan being Raiden are pretty fucking good. Like I can't even be mad at those. So this was Gila and a Nazi made this? Am I getting that right? America Man _hero. And Gila posted this. The head is too big. Come hero. Oh. Yeah, I wonder why Gila posted this. I wonder why Gila Klein posted this. Oh, interesting. He makes a satirical superhero comic taking on culture, politics, and everything in between. Buy me a coffee. Oh. I wonder what got Gila Klein's eye on here. I really hope there's no like NSFW stuff. What's the matter, Bradley? Dog, they just replaced me. They said they needed even lower skill workers. That's why you should go to college. Then you'd have some job security. My like, what is this? Bill, and it's oh my god. What the fuck? What the fuck is this comment? Or this comic? I don't know, I can't read what that is. But obviously like a racist caricature of an Indian person. Oh god. Oh my god, dude. This is so racist. This is so fucking racist. Gila Klein posted this shit? Is that true? Did she actually post this? Well, I mean, it's in their subreddit. She posted a guy. Gila was actually in the top 9th percentile in Zionist Israel for intelligence. Bro, what the actual fuck? This is gross. America Man, Stone Toss, Sinfest, Ben Garrison. Getting a bit excessive. Those are other. You are found guilty of rape, genocide, and child slaughter. How do you please? What the cluck did I do? And I like, am I not getting these, or are these actually just bad comments? You're just a low IQ anti-Semite? Based fan art. Aha, finally safe from the Jews' war in Ukraine. Well, I don't know what is going on. Like, this is just like vaguely anti-Semitic. I mean, vaguely anti-Semitic, extremely openly racist, and no punchline at all. If you think revoking gay rights and abortion rights is moderate, what could be further right than that? Sam Hyde, the guy who said I'm gonna kill Hasan, it's just like, he's mad at him? Dude, yeah, like, I swear I don't understand. There's some kind of like hidden lore. Oh, great, 9/11. There's some kind of like hidden racism lore that I'm missing out on.
Never seen this coming.
Okay, no, this is just like, this is just straight up anti-Semitic. What the fuck? What is going on, dude? I'm actually so confused. We have anti-Indian, anti-black, anti-Jew, you know, anti-trans, anti-gay people. Oh my god, it's going to crash into the tower. Don't worry, citizen, I've got, oh, look, 9/11 conspiracy, right? Because it's the Jews that did it. Oh, he stopped the plane, but 9/11 still happened. The World Trade Center still blew up. Okay, so this is just a fucking anti-Semitic, just racist piece of shit, and he, like, it's being applauded in the H3 subreddit, this comic? Really? Please. No way Gila Klein posted this. I thought I saw something, but is that true? Did she actually do that? Let me just look this up. Gila, we can go to her Instagram too. Worse now. Gila Klein reposted art made by neo-Nazi Sven Stoffels. Lol, Gila Klein reposting my comic? No! Gila Klein, you did not post a fucking Nazis comic strip. I mean, they're showing like a comic of Gila killing Palestinian children, but let's just be honest, man, there's way worse shit that this guy made than Gila Klein shooting kids. Like, yeah, that's still fucked up to make this comic, but bro, we just scroll through his like top 5 comics, his most recent comics, and you have anti-Semitism, more anti-Semitism, and anti-black racism in the same fucking comic. You know, Jewish conspiracy theories about 9/11, Jews replacing people, replacing white people with like other brown people, anti-gay stuff, anti-trans stuff, anti-Indian racism. Like, he's just hating. He's the Archie Bunker of Twitter comic, like of racist Twitter comics. That you're hitting all of the marks, and Gila's reposting this shit. Are you fucking kidding me, bro? No way. It's the same guy. Lol, yeah, chat definitely misled Hasan, and apparently everyone decided to go with it instead of looking it up. Is this the same guy? Like, is this actually... She posted this. He's also very clearly mocking Hila. I mean, yeah. Holy shit, dude. You're literally reposting a fucking Nazis comic. Maybe you should take a step back and re-examine your politics if this is the position you found yourself in. Of a guy openly being like, the Jews are trying to replace white people. And you're like posting... Oh, Dog Trainer reacts to this sound clip. And you're posting... And you're posting the comic of like the anti-Hasan one, right? Okay, anyway, we can probably stop it there for the Hasan coverage. That's crazy. That's crazy, dude. Like, this guy's so fucking... It's so openly racist. But I guess Hila saw this and is like, let me post it. Okay. Alright, man. Okay. Let's shift gears. So I wanted to cover this shit. The Gaza ceasefire updated 1 minute ago. Israel approves Trump's plan for Gaza ceasefire and hostage release. Israel's cabinet approves Gaza ceasefire. The Onion take on Gaza ceasefire. You gotta see the Onion, and we also need to see Al Jazeera. Hamas gets guarantees of end to Gaza war. Israel approves ceasefire. Israel's government has approved phase 1 of a ceasefire agreement, which will see captives exchanged and Israel withdraw from parts of Gaza, but details of how it fits into a wider plan to bring a lasting peace remain unclear. Khalil al-Hayya, the head of Hamas's negotiating team, said the group has received guarantees from the U.S. and mediators that an agreement on a first phase of the ceasefire agreement means the war in Gaza has ended completely. This was 5 minutes ago. Palestinians arrested in Israeli military raid on Ramallah. Video shows West Bank home demolition. Yeah, of course, like, they're not going to stop the ethnic cleansing of the West Bank just because they're doing a ceasefire in Gaza. In fact, they're probably going to pick up the ethnic cleansing of the West Bank. Notably, this is the same city that Hila Klein did a raid on, which earned her that great alliterative nickname. Earlier, we reported that Israeli forces had demolished the home of deceased Palestinian man Muhammad Bassam Taha in the town of Katana, north of occupied East Jerusalem. Video clips published by Palestinian media outlets on social media showed that the demolition taking place earlier tonight. It was the same deal from September 2024. I can't tell if those were like screams of fear or cheers. Residents gather in preparation for return to Gaza City when ceasefire starts officially. Despite the ceasefire taking effect, we cannot say for sure that the night was quite filled with tranquility. Since the early hours of this morning, a huge activation of Israeli drones, we can hear their sound right now. On the ground, we can also observe that Israeli naval warships are very close to Gaza's beach, stationed in order to prevent Palestinians from returning to Gaza City. We saw earlier this morning crowds of Palestinians gathering near the closest point at the Netzarim corridor waiting for the Israeli withdrawal so they can get the chance to return to their city. We have heard from eyewitnesses in Gaza City that the Israeli military has withdrawn from significant parts of the urban centers inside Gaza City and back to the yellow line that has been defined in the negotiations. So, like, notably, they're not pulling out of Gaza, they're pulling back to a designed line within Gaza. Now people are still waiting. They're asking when the Israeli military will completely withdraw from the area, but a series of explosions were heard overnight and before the implementation of the ceasefire. As far as we understand, a residential building was struck in the Sabra neighborhood, and 4 Palestinians were killed and 40 others are still missing under the debris of that destroyed house. So, killed 44 Palestinians just because they were going to do a ceasefire, like just completely out of spite. Will Hamas agree to hand over its weapons as a part of Gaza's ceasefire deal? Israel and Hamas may have agreed to the first phase of the US-backed ceasefire deal, but contentious differences between the two sides still remain, particularly when it comes to the fate of the Palestinian groups' weapons. Israel has long insisted that Hamas surrender all of its weapons if it wants a 2-year war in Gaza to end. Israel has also demanded that Hamas relinquish governance of the Palestinian enclave and dissolve itself as an organization. For its part, Hamas has publicly rejected calls to give up its weapons, but experts say the group has expressed openness in private to hand over some of its arsenal. When it comes to disarmament, this is where you have seen the biggest shift in Hamas's position, said Hugh Lovat, an expert on Israel-Palestine with the European Council on Foreign Relations. Hamas officials have said in private to interlocutors that the group may be open to a decommissioning process of Hamas's offensive weapons. Palestinians react to the ceasefire. So this was in Chicago? Let's take a look. Yeah, the U.S. Palestinian Community Network.
For 2 years, the streets of Chicago have echoed with the sounds of protest over the plight of the people of Gaza.
Stop the genocide!
And for all that time, Hatem Arubeya has been leading many of those protests. Perhaps for the first time since Israel's war on Gaza began, he now has measured hope that a ceasefire will bring lasting resolution. But it's mingled with profound disappointment.
We've never seen a genocide live before, in real time, on our palms, and everybody in the world was watching it, and they just allowed it to happen. That is what I'm absolutely stunned about.
You'll just like never hear something said this openly on American media. It's just not gonna happen, man. Like imagine Zohar Mamdani saying this without couching it in like, well, I respect Israel's right to defend itself, but like we need to uphold human rights. That's the most amount of pushback you're gonna get on this. Like this is what people on the ground are feeling. This is what the will of the Democratic base is feeling right now. So anti-Israel, so disheartened and disillusioned with the idea of some kind of like international global law that upholds human rights, just like that illusion shattered in front of us. This is gonna really have repercussions on people where the trust in the US government is like it's already at an all-time low, but there's never going to be trust in the US government like as there was in the past, man. Can you trust anything that these people have to say when you literally see a genocide happening right in front of you, and then the disconnect between the people that you've elected to be your leaders just ignoring it and being like, well, they should give up the hostages? It's like, bro, what are you talking? They should give up the hostages. Israel should stop genociding them. It's tragedy every single fucking day. So much death and destruction that at some point it just becomes a blur, and like it's notable when there's not death and destruction. That's what becomes newsworthy. Like man, the fact that like our media fell so short in covering this shit too. Yeah, like it's fucked up, man. Like the US is on a very dark course because look, as bad as the fascists that have control of the White House and Congress and courts right now are, the liberals, this is an issue with the liberals that are trying to take power back from these fascists. Like, look, we can get the fascists out in the next election, in the midterms, and then hopefully the presidential election, but this problem is with liberalism. It's with the liberals that are unwilling to break with the orthodoxy of U.S. foreign intervention and like the U.S. imperialist policies. They're unwilling to differentiate themselves from these imperialist policies, and this is the result where you get huge swaths of the politically active people that just cannot bring themselves to vote for you and have no trust in their government whatsoever. And they for good reason too.
Allowed it to happen. That is what I'm absolutely stunned about.
Many Palestinian and Arab Americans call the city's Albany Park neighborhood home.
Here in Chicago, many Palestinian Americans are glad to see an end to the killing, but saddened by the toll the war has taken.
I think it was 2 years too late, but at the same time, I don't want to dampen the happiness that people in Gaza are feeling right now.
We absolutely believe that there's been a shift, and not only in the last 2 years, but especially in the last 2 years. In popular opinion, yes, but the essence of the relationship between the U.S. government and Israel remains.
The demonstrations calling for an end to the war might be over, but the movement for Palestinian independence continues. John Hendren, Al Jazeera, Chicago.
I mean, not to like make any kind of definitive prediction, but I really see it difficult. I really have a difficult time seeing the American relationship with Israel maintaining for any length of time, just due to the irreparable damage Israel has done to its public image among young people in America. And like, not only young people, but a significant amount of voters on both sides of the aisle fucking despise Israel for what they've done. And like, you're going to see on the left and the right more and more people running for politics, being outspoken against Israel. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't think we're going to have the same type of collusion and cooperation for forever.
Generosity counts.
There's a shortfall. Okay. So what is phase 1 of the ceasefire? They ratified Gaza's ceasefire captive exchange deal with Hamas. Israel's government has ratified a Gaza ceasefire deal with Hamas. The office of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the vote early on Friday paves the way for a suspension of hostilities in Gaza within 24 hours and the release of 48 Israeli captives held in Gaza, including 20 believed to be alive within 72 hours after that. Yeah, because Trump said like, oh, you have to get out all of the hostages immediately. The government has just now approved the framework for the release of all the hostages. The vote came a day after the mediators announced an agreement between Israel and Hamas on a ceasefire in Gaza. The agreement, covering the first phase of the U.S. President Donald Trump's 20-point plan, also requires Israel to pull back its troops to an agreed-upon line. Israeli government spokesperson Shosh Bedrosian earlier said that Israel does not plan to release the imprisoned Palestinian leader Marwan Barghouti as part of the exchange, and claimed Israel would still control more than half of Gaza after moving its forces back as required under the deal. Trump said in remarks earlier on Thursday that the Israeli captives will be released from Gaza on Monday or Tuesday, and that he hopes to attend a ceasefire signing ceremony in Egypt. So that'd be next week. While the full details of the first phase of the ceasefire approved by Israel and Hamas remain unclear, Trump has said his plan will bring everlasting peace and wide-scale reconstruction in Gaza, which has been devastated by Israel's two-year war. You have tremendous wealth in that part of the world by certain countries, Trump said. Serious disagreements. I mean, this is the issue though. Like, what guarantee does Hamas have of Israel not just re-upping its invasion as soon as the hostages are released, right? Like, are there any kind of guarantees that Trump is going to put on Israel and be like, well, if you attack, then we're going to stop you from attacking. We're going to stop funding you or something like that. Are we going to talk about that? Because it doesn't seem like you're trying to get to everlasting peace if you're not pulling your troops out of Gaza altogether. You're just like, oh, we'll pull them back 3 miles. I'm not going to talk about that because, you sort of know what phase 2 is, but there will be disarming, adding that there would also be pullbacks by Israeli forces. Serious disagreements. Trump hailed the ceasefire deal. As Trump hailed the ceasefire deal, Israeli forces continued to attack areas of Gaza. At least 10 Palestinians were killed and 49 others were wounded in Israeli attacks. That was on Thursday, and then we also know that now there were 40 Palestinians buried under a rubble. Yeah, there are 40 Palestinians buried under rubble. The reality on the ground has not changed despite the agreement on the first phase of the ceasefire. Therefore, congratulations and celebrations may not be the best course of action right now, especially since blood is still being shed in Gaza. There's been a lot of aerial activity. It's giving people a sense that nothing has been finalized yet. Hamas condemned Israel's massacre in Sabra, urging mediators in the U.S. to take responsibility for Israel's crimes and intervene to stop the bombing of civilians. The group said Israel's systematic massacres showed its intent to continue the genocide. I mean, yeah. Speaking on the fourth day of intensive talks, Hamas chief negotiator Khalil al-Hayya said he has received guarantees from the U.S. and mediators that the first phase of the deal will lead to lasting permanent end to the war. So I guess the U.S. and its mediators are giving guarantees to the Hamas chief negotiator. The war is completely over, but they're still getting bombed, right? 250 Palestinians serving life sentences in Israeli prisons will be released as part of the deal, alongside 1,700 Palestinians from Gaza and all Palestinian women and children detained by Israel. Wow, that's great. They're releasing the fucking children that they detained, and you're telling me this isn't a genocide? They're just like capturing up women and children, right? Like women, okay, but like children, you have them fucking detained? So they said that the initial phase of the deal appeared to be moving forward, but serious disagreements remain between Israel and Hamas. These include details on the timing and scope of Israel's withdrawal, the makeup of the post-war administration. I mean, I do love how, like, oh yeah, we have no plans on any of this shit. We've had 2 years to come up with a ceasefire deal, but like, we're just flying by the seat of our pants right now. Dude, who's in charge of this? Anyway, let's see, what does Netanyahu say? Netanyahu ceasefire speech. Let's look up. We always gotta go to the Hebrew message, right? This is current. This is 2 weeks ago.
I want to speak from this forum.
And this is from the UN. We have Israeli news, the Times of Israel, 6 days ago. Hamas will be disarmed, a dramatic 24 hours. Hamas on Saturday. This is just like this isn't even Netanyahu's speech. It's just like an update on it. What about this? Military halt to all fences in Gaza City? Yeah, he really does have like the perfect face for a demon.
Stunning turn of events. This morning, Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu instructing the military to halt all offensive operations in Gaza. That's according to 2 Israeli sources familiar with the matter. Only defensive measures are now permitted, and that order came after President Trump called on Israel to halt the bombing of Gaza, claiming that Hamas is ready for lasting peace. But this process really began with the militants responding to the president's 20-point peace plan, but with notable reservations, saying they're ready to release all hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners, quotes, provided field conditions are met. They say they want more negotiations on several parts of Trump's plan. That could happen soon. But there's no mention of disbanding or disarming, as President Trump and Israel have both been firmly demanding. The militants also agreeing to hand over power to an independent Palestinian body when Trump's peace plan envisages an international group taking control. But I think despite the many doubts and many unanswered questions, this does appear to be a critical moment after almost 2 years of war in which tens of thousands of Palestinians have been killed. Indirect negotiations between Israel and Hamas.
Tens of thousands? You're not going to say the actual number? Okay, so this was kind of dumb. Okay, Israel approves plan for ceasefire. Netanyahu says no chance of ceasefire transcript. What's his Twitter like? 7 hours ago. Remarks by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the government meeting. I want to personally thank both of you, Steve and Jared. I mean, this is just like American propaganda, right? Statement by Netanyahu, a great day for Israel. I will convene the government tomorrow in order to approve the agreement. Well, I mean, we can only hope that Trump, I mean, we're so cooked, man. Like, we can only hope that Trump actually holds Israel to account, and once the hostages are released, he says, no, we're not going to finish the ethnic cleansing in Gaza, and we're actually going to like set up a independent Palestinian governing body for Gaza. We're actually gonna do that, and you're gonna pull out, and Hamas will disarm. They'll disarm themselves. I mean, what sounds more likely though, right? What sounds more likely? The US just looking the other way as Israel continues their genocide, or actually working with Hamas to disarm and set up some kind of independent Palestinian body, and then like enforcing Israel so that it won't continue to mow the lawn and try to ethnically cleanse and annex parts of Gaza. Like, does seem like it would be easier to for the Trump administration to just look the other way and to let Israel, you know, finish the job and annex all of Gaza. But it's just like this administration, bro, the Biden administration, you had no hope for them to do the humanitarian thing. In this administration, you're like, can you just not do the most maximally evil thing? Can you just not do that and I'd be good?
So, Adrian, very good to have you with me this morning. We've been watching this since last night. Maybe just describe that moment when it was kind of filtering out, the jubilation that we have seen, and what you've been seeing there and how you've been assessing the reaction since.
Sure. Hi, good morning, Heather. I think a couple of things to keep in mind. Sometimes there are rhythms to the way negotiations work. For example, we know in Egypt they would have a morning session where they would talk, and then they'd break for lunch, and they'd have an afternoon session, and then they'd break for dinner. So around, I guess it was closer to like 10 o'clock last night, local time, they broke for dinner. So the feeling then was like, okay, things are basically done for the night. If things go according to the normal procedure, we will hear in the morning. But nothing is normal in this moment, because it was very clear from the very beginning that if this was going to work, all efforts would be made to allow Donald Trump to take the credit that he craves, and many here argue he absolutely deserves. So the second you saw Marco Rubio in the White House pass a note to Donald Trump, it was very clear that whatever timeline fit a typical timeline, you could throw it out the window, that he was going to do everything he could to rush it. And in some ways, his announcement of a deal with Benjamin Netanyahu, or the framework of a promise, was also making it so by declaring it's happened. So his rush to get on Truth Social last night just ramped everything up very quickly. It was only after Donald Trump took credit, explained what had happened, that people then heard from Benjamin Netanyahu. And it was the middle of the night, Heather. It was sort of, I guess, 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m.
Is this woman a reporter? She's doing a horrible job of relaying information. Yeah, Trump pressured Netanyahu into accepting the deal. That's what he always does, right? He lies about things, saying that they're done, and then he basically wills it into existence. What do you... Oh yeah, there's like people are eating meals and then they take a break and then go eat more meals. What are you talking about?
All of this was emerging. It's a holiday here, Sukkot. We were live doing the show, and there were people on a balcony across from us who were wondering what we were doing, and then we were explaining the news to them, and they were sort of...
What the fuck are you saying? Report on the... Why are you not talking about the, like, how people... What? Just do interviews. Yeah, you don't need to tell me your entire day. Oh, and then I woke up, and then we ate breakfast, and then...
So you can appreciate there's some hesitation, but a feeling today, it's absolutely happening. There's someone dressed up as Donald Trump wandering around here getting all sorts of hugs from people. So that should give you a sense of what's going on. He's been invited, by the way, to speak at Hostage Square, as well as at the Knesset. So if he does indeed come here on Sunday, you can expect an absolute love fest for Donald Trump.
That will be really something to see, and as he said, he's planning to be there and probably work for that already underway. In this first phase, Adrian, we know what this calls, of course, the release of all the hostages, the pulling back of Israeli troops to some agreed-upon line, also this surge of aid into Gaza for the people who need it so desperately. But before that to begin, it all has to go through the Israeli cabinet, the Israeli government. So what are the timelines that you're watching for now?
Good question. Good question. Hey, so you're looking at a cabinet meeting today. Is it 2 o'clock, which is within the hour? Is it 5 o'clock? We're still waiting for confirmation of that. Likud, Benjamin Netanyahu's party, certainly has a majority in the cabinet, so no one is expecting that this won't pass. But will this cabinet meeting be a moment for the people on the far right who have propped up his government but have hated the idea of making a deal that sees Israel withdraw? Is this a moment for them to make themselves heard and drag out the conversation and perhaps try to throw some wrenches in the works? The mood in the country suggests that no one wants them to do that, but their political base may want to at least hear them do that. So wait for that to happen, the official stamp, if you will, then start the 72-hour clock, effectively. So that puts you at Monday. Monday evening is the end of the holiday of Sukkot. Benjamin Netanyahu had promised that the hostages would come out over the holiday period. So Simchat Torah, which is Monday night, that is the night they are counting on at the very latest here.
Speaking of Netanyahu, it was interesting to read his statement in the immediate aftermath. He called this first phase, this agreement, a diplomatic success and a national and moral victory for the state of Israel. But as you have reported on so often, as have we, he has faced serious criticism from hostage families. Certainly some of those in the Knesset have opposed any deal with Hamas, the hard right part of his coalition. What is waiting for him politically when this actually does take hold, Adrian?
Oh, so much is waiting for him. I'm looking at a courthouse now where his corruption trial is waiting for him. One of the things the families will tell you often is that they have been begging for a commission of inquiry since this happened. There were monumental failures on the part of the Israeli military and intelligence in having this happen in the first place and then in the response to it. Everything from not listening to the spotters the night of October 6th who reported to their commanders that something was up along the border, including approving the Nova Festival at a very high level, but not relaying that information to the ground troops. It took the troops hours to get to the Nova Festival. We spoke to a survivor who was running for his life and got a call from his commander asking him to deploy to the music festival because there was trouble. And he was saying, I know there's trouble. I'm trying not to die here. So,
I mean, yeah, Netanyahu's a horrible politician that campaigned on being like the safety candidate. And then October 7th happened on his watch. And ever since then, he's done, the classic fascist playbook of trying to maintain a status of constant emergency so that he always has a chance to stay in power. So that he always is like, well, I need to stay in power because we always have emergencies going on. I can't leave power now. Like, that's what Donald Trump is trying to do as well. This is kind of classic fucking fascist playbook. So, okay, so let's call it with that. Okay, I just want to show like a few more clips, and then we're gonna call it ICE. I mean, ICE is just going out of control right now. We had the fucking where's this image?
You guys,
where's the National Guard troops? That was so funny. National Guard. This one. Bro, people are like, the National Guard is definitely not sending their best and brightest. It's like you have the fucking, Yeah, you just have the big old boys that that are coming to town. It's after Pete Hegseth made that speech about how everyone needs to. You guys are making me look bad. The Secretary of Defense? Why can the Secretary of Defense do 20 jumping jacks and the troops can't do that? And they're sending in the big boys. Okay. So anyway, yeah, National Guard is being sent in. Donald Trump wants to fucking arrest the mayor of Chicago and arrest J.B. Pritzker. He says they should be in jail because they didn't protect ICE officers enough. So that's what he says. They didn't. He failed to protect ICE officers. Governor Pritzker also. Okay, so like let's take a look at this. This is something that I saw, which was so funny to me. So this woman, who's I guess a Republican and a bootlicker, holy crap! Let me do my most Midwestern. Holy crap! An illegal was getting arrested when a crowd stepped in and helped the illegal escape. Every single person who interfered needs to be locked up. Okay, so let's watch this. This is actually an amazing video. Once again, no evidence that this guy's an illegal or anything like that. He's just a guy.
La migra!
No. Look, there's people just standing there watching right now as this guy's just getting thrown around. And then there's a lot of people honking too. I just want you guys to keep in mind, the President of the United States said the mayor, I don't know where this took place. Was it Chicago? I don't know where this took place. But the President of the United States said that the mayor needs to be arrested because he didn't do a good enough job protecting these fuckheads, these completely inept buffoons that can't even, like, detain a single person. The mayor needs to be arrested because he can't protect, because he's not protecting these people. He's not protecting these people. ICE is truly the most marginalized group in the entire country. That's the sad truth. That's the reality. ICE agents are just persecuted by everyone. All they're doing is trying to illegally detain people and beat the shit out of them, and vindictively get retribution and assault people because they've done things that they don't like or have political views they disagree with. They're just jackbooted thugs and bullies that couldn't hack it as real cops, but yeah, they're the most marginalized people in this country. Bro, this is a fucking comedy routine. What even happens? The guy grabs their walkie-talkie. Look, he's got a fucking walkie-talkie in his hand. He took the walkie-talkie out of this guy's hand. He takes it out of this guy's hand and throws it to the guy standing there. That's so funny. That's so fucking. So wait, White Hat comes in. Does he have a walkie-talkie in his hand? Oh, you can't see. Truck comes past. White Hat comes in. He reaches down. Can't see if he has a walkie. I think he has. Where did he get the walkie-talkie? Where did he get the walkie-talkie from? Did he have it before? Look, his hands are empty. The guy's on him. He's hugging him like a man who loves his brother. He turns him around. Does he have a walkie-talkie in his vest or something that falls? White Hat comes over. He's bending down. All of a sudden, this guy here has a walkie-talkie in his hand, tosses it to this guy, and they try to go get it. He goes for the walkie-talkie, and then the other guy just stands up. I think it fell out of his holster here. Oh my god, dude. The walkie-talkie falls out of the holster. He just throws it over there, and like a dog seeing some kind of rope being thrown, he immediately just gets up and goes after it. Look at these cruel, vicious citizens honking their horns at people holding up traffic and beating someone the fuck up. Yeah. But the honking of the horns, that's audio. That's audio assault. How do you not have respect for ICE agents? Once again, absolutely no evidence that this guy has done anything wrong other than look Hispanic. They throw his hat. She threw her hat. She threw the guy's hat. Oh my god. I didn't notice that. The guy's hat falls off. She reaches down and chucks it. Dude, I just can't ever stop being entertained by ICE taking L's in videos. Dude, this woman's a fucking badass too. His hat's gone. And he's got the fucking balaclava on. What a douche. What a fucking douchebag. And then you have this unit here. He's down to only one sneaker. He's just walking as this guy's like trying to grope his tits. Dude, what is this move? What is, do you know? Have you ever done any kind of like physical activity whatsoever? You're just like leaning your chest slightly on him and trying to control his movement like that? Dude, it's actually like a fucking Three Stooges sketch. He comes over with the zip ties and he's just like stumbling all over the place. He drops them. He drops the zip ties. They try to put the zip tie on the guy's hand. With his other hand, he grabs it, pulls it off his hand, and throws it away. Holy shit, this is fucking... Now this guy's losing his glasses. He already lost his walkie-talkie, his hat. Now his fucking, like, I'm a paramilitary guy, glasses are falling off. Please pull his balaclava down. He's gonna scream like the lawyer in It's Always Sunny when his hand flies off. Nobody look! Nobody look! They try to kick the fucking zip ties.
Let him go!
He gives him one last push and then they're like, I'm gonna go. These guys, just never forget, these people are cowards and bullies. It's cowards and bullies that sign up for this shit. And if they ever find that like the effort is too much to actually get this person, they're gonna leave because they're cowards at the end of the day, as are all bullies. All bullies are cowards. So when they get confronted, when things are a little bit too difficult, and when they're a little bit too embarrassed, and there's too many people looking at them, it might not be worth it for them. Driving away with their tail between their legs. Bro. Oh my god. I don't want to block her. She's awesome. A crowd stepped in and helped the illegal escape. Every single person who interviewed needs to be locked up. Maybe the people that are doing illegal detentions need to be locked up. Yeah.
The latest video to send shockwaves from San Diego immigration court through the immigrant community is actually not of an immigrant, but a 71-year-old U.S. citizen named Barbara Stone.
I was surprised. It felt like an out-of-body experience.
Stone was handcuffed and held by federal agents for 8 hours on Tuesday, according to her family.
This is from the handcuffs, so I have a large bruise there. I feel mentally and psychologically traumatized.
In video of the incident, which was shared with NBC7, you see the moment tensions boiled over and an officer says Stone pushed her. Stone denies that. NBC7 made several attempts to contact ICE about the incident, but was referred to a different agency under the Department of Homeland Security, the Federal Protective Service, and we've yet to hear back. NBC7 spoke with Stone's husband, Gershon Shafir, the day his wife was detained.
She is a soft-spoken person who was here to protect innocent refugees, and she is the last person in the universe who would hit an agent or interfere with their work.
Stone was at the court to observe proceedings and how the federal agents act, which is legal and, according to Ruth Mendez of Detention Resistance, a First Amendment right.
The fear is very, very here, and the volunteers that are showing up today are now coming knowing that there might be a risk of our own detention.
No charges.
Yeah, and that's what ICE wants, right? They want people to preemptively not resist. They want people to give in to ICE. They don't want people that know the law and know their rights to help these undocumented people, or help people like go through the documentation process. Like, never let someone tell you that ICE is enforcing the laws. They are actively trying to break the laws. They are trying to break down systems that lets minority groups into this country. It is, at the end of the day, like a racist institution, and getting more racist day by day because they're literally targeting people based off of the color of their skin and their ethnicity. Like they're doing racial targeting. The Supreme Court just passed a ruling that said that they could do racial targeting, and they are also targeting American citizens that are standing in the way of them just being brutal to people. So yes, never, like, this is a political violent organization. You can say it's essentially like a domestic terrorist group that is doing the bidding of the president to do illegal terror against people that are on the political opposing side. Like, it's a terroristic group spreading terror and doing violence to achieve political ends. That's what ICE has become underneath President Donald Trump. And really, any politician on the Democratic side that's not calling for the abolishment of ICE needs to get their head examined. And they just have completely lost the plot. So anyway, guys, I could go on for hours and go through every single like different horror story. Basically, you gotta stay vigilant, and yeah, these people like this, they see an elderly lady following the rule of law, and instead of engaging on a civic level, engaging on a lawful level with these people that are just standing there trying to observe immigration proceedings, making sure that asylum seekers know their rights and know that they can't be detained by ICE. ICE sees a person, a U.S. citizen, following the law, trying to help out someone to, have a better life, and they don't engage on that in any level other than pure violence. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. Like, you can look as white as, look as white as, look as white as, fuck, what's his name? The McCulkin kid from Home Alone. Look as white as him. You can be following the law to a T. If you get into a political opposing position to ICE, they will use violence upon you. So keep that in mind. If you are ever engaging in ICE, make sure that make sure you have a good relationship with your local police, because the local police stations do not appreciate ICE just coming in and causing a havoc in their cities. Use that as a resource to actually aid you when violence is being done upon you or your neighbors. I think that now more than ever is the time to really start local progressive organizations. See if there's anything in your neighborhood, and if there's not, see if you can talk to some people and maybe start something. Like, I know it's not super appealing at the moment to put your name down on a list as part of an organization, but you really do need people you can rely upon to help you through these times. Like, even if you're not doing anything, man, even if you're just going to work and coming home every single day, there's always a chance that you or your neighbor, or if you see someone on the street getting unlawfully detained, beaten up, put into a detention center for hours, days, weeks, months, who knows how long. There's no oversight on this terroristic organization that has just sprung up out of nowhere. Keep in mind, these people are all from these radical groups, these far right white supremacist groups, like the Proud Boys, like the Oath Keepers and Boogaloo Boys that were involved in raiding the Capitol on January 6th, and they've all been deputized by their far right God King. So this is really serious shit, man. Yeah, but yeah, I can go on and keep playing clips of this, but I've got to call the stream. So anyway, ended it on a bit of a sour note, but I mean, at the end of the day, guys, these people are fucking bullies and they're cowards. And even though they are emboldened by the Trump administration, like, we do have power with being an engaged citizen. And we saw there what being engaged citizens can do. Knowing your rights, knowing other people, knowing resources that are available to you, relying on your governor, relying on the mayor, relying on your local police station at this point. Like, shit's dire when you're like, gotta get the fucking police here to help me from the feds. But that's where we're at. And it is going to come to a breaking point with the National Guard being deployed in different cities and police stations being more and more unhappy with ICE and mayors resisting ICE more and more. There is going to become a breaking point, and we'll see if ICE starts to recede into kind of the background and stops being such an active force for political change, or we'll see if there is a standoff with ICE agents and police officers at some point, or like state or federal officers, state officers versus ICE, with some of these more liberal governors like Walz, like a Pritzker, like a Newsom, where, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, this shit is ratcheting up big time, and there is going to be a breaking point at some point. So guys, that's it for me for tonight. Thanks for watching. We had some silly stuff with Hasan's dog, but I really hope that the ceasefire that we're seeing now will last. But we've seen how Israeli ceasefires last, and it usually ends with Israeli bombs killing Palestinians. So I don't have a lot of hope for it. I don't have a lot of faith in Trump's ambassadors holding Israel to an account. I don't have a lot of faith in their assurances to Hamas, but we'll see, guys. I can't believe that, like, we've had 2 ceasefires underneath the Trump presidency because of the pressure he's applied to Israel, and the Democrats did nothing. I'm going to end it there. Guys, free Palestine. Everyone, have a great rest of your evening, your night, your morning, whatever it is. I'll see you later. Bye.